Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here again on your Saturday. Hope you're all having a great day. Give it a couple more minutes. We'll get a few people in and hopefully joined in. EverGrow Love, thanks for being here today. Habibi the Pug, appreciate it so much. Rick B, Moon Android CWP. Give me 1 second. I'm going to invite you to co-host. Person, hope the video that I made on Lucro Staking helped a little bit. Will and Bert, good to see you too. G00 and Miko. Yeah, it's felt like I don't know about you guys, but it felt like a long week. A really long week, actually. But we're here. It's the weekend. Nobody can change that. 1 second here. I'm going to get Moon Android all set up. And we can go ahead and hopefully get started in just a couple minutes. I haven't heard if hey Denny, good to see you. I just haven't heard if Cody or Rocket are going to be here today. I know they're really busy with everything with LunaSky, so we'll see how it goes. CWP, how you doing?
I'm doing great for an old guy, as I usually say. I sent you a message earlier about my hearing aids, which I actually love when they're working, not being able to connect to my phone via Bluetooth. So I have my speaker on, which is the only way I can hear, and I wonder how that's affecting my audio quality.
I think I can hear you just fine. I'm not getting any unusual noises or anything like that.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And
hello, hi guys.
How are you?
I'm fine. I just wanted to today, because I'm not talking very often in the spaces. So just today I want to say hello to all of you, and I want to say that it's truly amazing community, and I really appreciate I can be the member of this community, and I like to listen to your space every time I can, because it's quite late in the night right now. It's 11 p.m. So just this. Hello everybody, and
well, I really appreciate you being here. We are so lucky to have you as part of our community. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all the great work you do supporting the community with in Creator Core, or as Cody would say. I brought him up here. I don't know if he can come up here, but he can do it way better than me. But Creator Core.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. And Moon, how you doing?
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody.
How's your week?
It's an all right week. I've had busier.
Yeah. It was
not just a busy week. I've had busier, but still somewhat of a busy week.
Yeah, for sure. It felt that way to me too. It felt like a really busy week, and felt like I couldn't really catch up. And so, yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
You bet.
Had a whole what do you call it? Hard drive crash, malfunction. Had to replace the whole thing. Yeah, I lost quite a bunch of work actually.
Oh no. Hopefully you didn't have any wallets on there.
No, just Photoshop files and stuff.
Gotcha. Any way you can recover it?
I was able to recover most, but some were completely gone.
That sucks.
Unfortunately, ended up being the two most important ones. It's always like that somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. EverGrow Love, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Man, I'm going to tell you, Moon, if that was porn, you'd be able to recover that. Somebody would be able to recover that. Just saying.
That's the truth.
Yeah, that's the only thing they can seem to recover. But no, I'm here, man. I'm excited. I'm just as excited today as I have been the last 3 to 6 months. I mean, this is getting so close now, and all I can say is, Cody and Rocket, man, they better be cracking that whip. Yeah, baby.
Absolutely. Cody, good to see you here, and thanks for joining on the space. Appreciate it. Hopefully you can connect. Might just take a minute. But yeah, let's give a quick shout out here. We got EGC Tuna, good to see you. Joel M, Michael Garber, Monty Bucks, of course, and Exponential EverGrow, Big B. Who else we got? Taxi Man, Andy, Andy with Vanguard Heating. I don't think I've seen you here before, unless you changed your PFP. An Alien, good to see you too. Ed Hopkins and Adam Adler. Thank you so much for being here today. So we'll go ahead and hopefully Cody will be able to speak in this one. I'm not too sure if he can. Oh, looks like her song wants to come up and say
hello. Hi. Hello.
Cody, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. It might be a bit of a delay, but that's...
I think I may have to reconnect. I'll BRB.
Okay, sounds good. While you're doing that, Hersan, how you doing?
Good. I'm good.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm better, man. I was able to stake my Lucro. Now I can do it with my eyes closed, man.
What was that, sorry?
I'm saying that I'm fine and
good.
Happy now. I was able to stake my Lucro.
Gotcha. You were able to do it?
Yeah, I did it.
Fantastic. That's great news.
Really good.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you for your help, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm just sorry it took a little longer than I had hoped to get that video together.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I want to say two things. I hope I'm able to connect them. I don't know if you saw like what happened with the token starting with P. Oh man, that's so sad. People lost a lot of money.
Yeah, did I hear about what with token, sorry?
Starting with P, like pawn, something like that. And it shows me that people, because apparently it was on the contract that basically it was going to steal your money. But it shows that people are desperate to believe in something, whether it's financial, religion, politically. You know, it's like people are desperate. And
right.
In one hand, I know it probably will sound bad, but if EverGrow continue to be transparent and honest as they are now, that's going to be huge for them, because when people see their transparency and that it shows that the rewards goes back to the holders and they are a good, honest, transparent team, it's going to be huge for them, because imagine people investing in anything. Once they find that token, that project that deliver in their promises, it's going to be a good advantage for them. And this is what I would like to connect. The other day, I was reading a conversation between Sam and somebody that he was trying to answer, and the person was saying like, yeah, but if LunaSky is almost ready, why don't you release already? And something stood out to me that he said. He said that, I'm going to paraphrase, that basically we have to wait, because if something goes wrong, people won't go back to check if they fix it. So there is only one first opportunity to do the first impression.
Right.
And in that case, I'm with him. I'm willing to wait no matter for how long it takes, because like he said, people won't go back and check, to make sure that they fix it. So I'd rather the team to take a little bit longer, but once that product is out and it works, that's what we need. Because believe me, well, not believe me, but it's just a saying. Instead of going back and check, people will fight it. People will talk badly about that project, and that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
Once you finally found this project that the team is honest, they help you, they have good customer service. You keep investing little by little, and you hope for good utilities. And this is the best utility of this project so far: honesty and transparency. That's what this industry needs right now, more than anything. That would be, for me, the best utility: honesty and transparency.
Very, very well said. How often do you hear of integrity and crypto going together in the same sentence? It does.
Rarely.
Barely, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So I think the temptation to be impatient I think it's normal, especially when you're not seeing what's going on in terms of the work. So it's easy to see week by week go by, and you're kind of like, okay, well, and then you're thinking like, this should just happen, right? It should just flow, and it doesn't. And when things don't happen on your own timeline, it's easy to get impatient. But when you step back just a little bit and kind of see the bigger picture, you're absolutely right. If you do release and you mess it up, people don't really give you a second chance, and that impression is made and you're in, and for it, a lot of times it's done. That's it. You don't, like you said, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So yeah. So Cody, I see you got to so well said. I thank you for that, Cody. I'm glad you're able to reconnect. Hope you're having a good day.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Can I hear you great?
All right, fantastic. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I got a little bit of a kind of a raspy throat. My apologies for that.
Well, you sound rather clear to me, my friend. I hope that the throat issue doesn't persist or get worse.
Thank you. So what's new in your
hello
world?
to everyone else. Oh, just, yeah, working, living, doing the things, that need to be done. Yeah, busy week. Very busy.
So EverGrow Love wanted to know if you were cracking the whip.
Oh, wrong sound effect.
That's awesome.
They don't have a whip sound effect. Wait a second. Let's see what they got. What's this one?
There you go.
No. Yes. No, things are going good. Things are very productive. So, as you have seen.
Yeah, absolutely. On multiple fronts, we're going to talk a little bit about Atlas Wallet a little bit later. But yeah, so unless you want to jump into something you want to talk about at the beginning, we'll go ahead and get started in the space.
The show is yours as usual, my friend.
Thank you.
You take it wherever you like to go. I just want to say hello to everyone. So hello, everyone.
Absolutely. I see EverGrow Dan is in here. Thank you for being here, and I hope things are getting better for you, sir. And thank you for everything you do for the community. Just thank you so much. I see Kenny's here too. Good to see you as well. So yeah, so everyone, welcome to Twitter Space number 49. Here we go. We're so close to 50. Obviously, we talk about EverGrow, LunaSky, Atlas Wallet, Lucro Games, and other utilities. Can't wait to the other utilities so we can start talking about more and more and more. So yeah, we've seen a lot of news around crypto this week. The first one I'm going to talk about is from CoinDesk. This one is from Christian Sandor of CoinDesk. So Bitcoin, the title is Bitcoin won't be stuck below 30K for long. Crypto option traders bet. Bitcoin's BTC's dip below 30,000 level is likely a short-term correction in an otherwise bullish trend. Rachel Lynn, CEO of derivatives, decentralized exchange Sin Futures, said in a Friday note. Despite Bitcoin's fall below 30,000, there is conspicuous lack of 30,000 call options selling from the bearish traders, Lynn said. This suggests they don't foresee the 30,000 level transforming into a significant resistance, at least in the near term. The largest cryptocurrency by market cap, Bitcoin traded above 30,000 for most of July, reaching a near one-year high of 31,800 price earlier in the month, with asset management giant BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF application and a partially favorable court ruling about Ripple XRP amongst the positive catalysts. The uptrend, however, fizzled recently with prices dipping below 29,000 earlier this week before a modest bounce to the current 29,350. Losing the 30,000 level, however, is likely just a short-term deviation, according to Lynn. While this technical drop may induce concern, given the robust uptrend over the past 6 months, it's sensible to consider this a mere short-term correction, she adds, adding that the 31,000 call option continues to attract high open interest from traders. Lynn said this is a sign that the price level poses a potent resistance in case of a bounce in BTC price. Options are trading instruments that give investors the right to buy or sell an underlying asset at a set price at a later date. A call option, buyers get the right to buy, and those who purchase puts get the right to sell. For example, Bitcoin traders often use call options to make cheap, leveraged, bullish bets on the price. Singapore-based crypto service provider Matrixport advised investors to sell BTC. And let me get back to my spot here. Sell BTC, where was I now? And buy call options instead to optimize returns at a time when volatility is suppressed in the crypto market. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's always good news. When BTC goes up, you generally see, like the old saying says, when a rising tide lifts all boats. That was kind of interesting. What are your thoughts, CWP, on the kind of crypto market in general?
It is still moving sideways, much to my dismay. Um, uh, and again, and I really hate saying this, but there are so many changes that are happening in crypto throughout the world. And it seems to me that the US is lagging way behind the rest of the world in crypto adoption, regulations, and everything. And I find that very, very sad. Um, Personally, of course, because I'm stuck in the US. But I wish we were at the top of crypto adoption, and the rest of the world was following us the way it did on the internet.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring up Dan real quick because I'm sure he's got a market analysis about crypto in general. Dan, how you doing? So good to see you here, man.
Hi, thank you very much. And it's been a long time, but my situation has been pretty harsh the last couple of months, but it's going a lot better now. I managed to do my exams and get a real job as an insurance broker. So I'm really happy. CWLP, I think you were right about the USA lagging. However, that has changed yesterday because there was a new bill that was passed, basically granting a lot of power to crypto holders. And the U.S. Congress has made a statement saying that they will pass new regulations and laws concerning crypto because crypto is the future, and that if US lags behind, it will hurt U.S. interests very much. So they will correct that posture. So that's so bullish. It's incredible, and I'm impressed that it didn't go mainstream anywhere. You saw it a couple of times on Twitter, but that's it. And I saw that and I went oh my God, okay, this is a change of posture. So
absolutely, I saw that. There was two bills that I heard of. One, I believe it said it was going to try to organize crypto into two different realms, right? Some that are under the SEC and some that are under the Commodities Future Trading Commission. And so at least we're getting somewhere. CWP, you wanted to jump in?
Yes, I wanted to say that was the House bill, and it was awesome. And it has a snowball's chance in hell of passing the Senate. Unfortunately, the bills and the proposals in the U.S. Senate are much more draconian, in my opinion. I wish that House bill would go in as is and without changes, because it is awesome, just as the speaker said.
It wouldn't hurt, to write to your senator. There's ways to do that now that are a lot more, rather than writing a physical letter, and say that you support this, and let them know that if we say nothing, then they may not even know that we're even interested in it. So I encourage you to do that. Find your senator in your area.
Unfortunately, I frequently write and call both senators here and the House, and I am resoundingly and soundly ignored because my politics and their politics are completely mismatched, unfortunately.
It's too bad. Sometimes representing the people, they say that they're supposed to represent everyone, but, we're so polarized in U.S. politics, unfortunately. It's just too bad. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. In terms of Canada, is there any movement in Canadian politics towards being more crypto-friendly?
No, it's the complete opposite. More and more crypto companies are actually leaving, and the framework that the Trudeau government is building on is basically to. It's not banning crypto outright. Like some are banned, and I don't understand anything about it. The Ontario Securities banned USDT a while back, and it does not pass the securities test there's no way someone can imagine making profit on USDT. it's impossible. And actually, so they outlawed it, and a lot of exchange are moving out. In September, Binance is out. They already started blocking accounts, so you have to go through a VPN to log onto your account. So it's time to take out all your money. And crypto.com is slowly gonna phase out. There's so many. Bitfinex is out. There's no more option on CX for Canadians, and it's getting a lot tougher. And now that they introduced they gave kind of not a bill, but the right for the GRC, which is the police there, federal police, to check accounts that are heavily buying crypto and getting crypto into their bank's account. So if you buy for more than 5,000, I think, on the crypto exchange, your bank account is now monitored.
Wow. The RCMP are monitoring bank accounts purchases above 5,000 buys and sells.
Yeah, they usually banks had to advise the RCMP about 10K or more, because it was it used to be a thing there. But now if there's and right now I'm having a hell of a time I can no longer buy crypto using my my debit Visa and all those on exchanges. I have to go through a third party like MoonPay and everything.
Right.
So,
that's unfortunate. But on the plus side, it's a good environment for Atlas Wallet because, with DeFi, right? Do you foresee good adoption in Canada for a really good DeFi wallet?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Right now, Canadians are getting more and more interested into crypto. Even at work, I'm at a job where it's heavily the financial markets, but the traditional markets. And there's so many people that are interested in crypto. I thought that when I went there and started talking about crypto, people would shun me. But wow, it's impressive how many people think that it's the future. They're paper money is gonna stop to exist, and it's really impressive how much people want crypto to succeed, and people starting to understand how the government printing so much money is just a huge scam, where the dollar, when they say it's inflation, which is not, it's the devaluation of our currency against itself over time, and our purchasing power is being so lessened because the government doesn't stop printing money. They think that people are not realizing that they just gave they just printed more money to send $600 to I don't know how many million families, but if you people are starting to see that money over time devaluates so much that they're losing their $600 after a year. They lost so much purchasing power that it's so much more, and it affects all family members.
Is there an election coming up in Canada?
Yeah, but the problem in Canada with the elections is that
well, I was just saying that's a good way to buy votes, right? Send people money.
Good choice.
I don't know if you heard me, but I was just saying that's a good way to buy votes is send people a bunch of money, right?
Oh yeah, and that's they always do that. And but right now, even if Trudeau was challenged, I don't know if he would lose, because the options right now are not that great. So
it just surprises me that Canada would have, especially coming from Canada, would have such an aggressive response against crypto. I really don't understand.
Actually, Canada has changed since I'm going to call it Trudeau's dominion. He's basically a dictator, and he was named as such at the UN by many UN Parliament members. like it's insane. He like just see what he did with the truckers convoy. He basically said his own citizens that were doing a peaceful protestation rally were terrorists. So froze bank accounts. It's incredible the lengths he goes to, and he's so corrupt. Like he's the only prime minister in Canada that was accused and found guilty not once, not twice, but 3 times for failure to have good ethics, and it's insane. And now because his when his government was had the majority, they tried to often do some investigations into certain things, but since the Liberal government could veto investigations, they always did it, and no investigations went through. Like with the SNC Lavalin scandal, where basically the justice minister wanted to prosecute SNC Lavalin, which is a huge company, and she got fired for doing that, and it's a long story, but
it's too bad. There's an enormous opportunity in crypto for adoption,
but
right?
Canada is not what it used to be 10 years ago.
Right.
I used to love my country, ready to die for my country, and right now, if someone would say, I am thinking about moving to Canada, I would say, okay, don't come here. It's fucking a shit show.
I don't think any country is what it used to be 10 years ago. So don't think it's just Canada. It's America. It's everywhere. Politics. We can go on with politics in just about every country. Every country's having their problems. I mean, look at us. Look at what we have. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Anyway,
but that really shows a problem. If you think about it in a worldwide perspective, that really shows a problem specifically in the Americas. I mean, look at it. Canada, extremely aggressive towards crypto. I'm surprised they haven't banned it yet. United States, friendly towards crypto, but can't make heads of tails of it. It's a complete mess. Nobody can understand it. And then you have the rest of Central and South America, 1 or 2 countries that are friendly. Most don't use it. Wow. I mean...
Yeah. The people that have the most to gain from crypto understand the potential. Especially like countries where they're dealing with massive inflation, I think they see a potential, an opportunity for crypto, and because they're trapped under the financial system that they're in, a lot of times you just can't leave, right? You just can't get out of your country and go somewhere else. You literally got to deal with what you got. Go ahead, CWP.
Even China, which banned crypto completely a few years back, is now jumped on the crypto bandwagon, and is way ahead of the U.S. This is China.
Yeah, I know.
A totalitarian society.
Yeah, they've done a complete 180 on crypto, and I think because I would be speculating, but because there's so much societal control in China, it wouldn't surprise me that it's like a win-win for them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Dan, I want to say that as an American liberal, I have always looked up to Canada because of its progressive policies. And what you're saying is just really sad to me and mirrors what I have read in the papers about Canada and of course, in the United States. And sad and disappointing. And I sympathize with all Canadians right now with what's going on in your country.
Speaking of law breaking and all that stuff, that brings me to my second article, which is by FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried. So this article from Reuters, Luke Cohen and Jonathan Stemple. The headline says, U.S. judge tightens Sam Bankman-Fried's bail. Will consider jailing him. On July 26th, the U.S. judge on Wednesday tightened SBF's bail condition by restricting his ability to communicate publicly, and said he will consider jailing him before the trial over the collapse of FTX currency exchange. At a hearing on Manhattan federal court, prosecutors asked U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan to detain Bankman-Fried, now saying he had crossed the line by sharing his former romantic partner Caroline Ellison's personal writings with a reporter in what they said amounted to a second instance of witness tampering. Kaplan imposed a gag order previously requested by prosecutors for the 31-year-old Bankman-Fried and gave both sides until August 3rd to explain their views on whether jail is necessary for the former billionaire. I'm very mindful of the government's interest in the issue, which I take seriously, Kaplan said. Mr. Bankman-Fried, you better take it seriously too. Mark Cohen, a lawyer for Bankman-Fried, said his client was merely trying to protect his reputation by communicating with journalists, and that it really would be almost impossible to prepare for the October 2nd trial if Bankman-Fried were jailed. Bankman-Fried has been largely confined to his parents' house in Palo Alto, California, since his extradition in December from the Bahamas, where he was arrested and where FTX was based. He has pled not guilty to charges and that he stole billions of dollars in FTX customer funds, in part to plug losses for his crypto hedge fund Alameda Research. Ellison, who was Alameda's chief executive, is one of 3 former members of Bankman-Fried's inner circle who pled guilty to fraud charges and agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. She is expected to testify against Bankman-Fried. And just for SBF Parents Homes, a nice little cozy 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot house valued in the $4.3 million range. They used their home as collateral to bail him out of jail. So I thought it was kind of interesting. SBF, and I heard something else too about charges that were dropped. I don't know the circumstance of that. I don't know if it was just some political maneuvering from the Bahamian government or something, but
really, that was something that I was going to comment on, Steve.
Yeah.
Because it's a major felony that's been dropped. And the charges, it's not just political, but it is what we were going to do in charging him in our court system is a violation of the agreement that we have, the extradition treaty. So it was dropped on a technicality.
Gotcha.
I hope nothing else like this happens. He needs to have in my opinion, the strongest penalties imposed upon him according to law.
If you don't set an example, this was a centralized exchange, right? But if you don't set an example, how do you gain trust in crypto if you're not holding people accountable for, I understand that, guilty or innocent until proven guilty. Totally understand that there's trials and there's, they go through the process and all that stuff, but it's just happening over and over and over. So it's this battle that we must fight to prove that we as EGC are a legitimate project, right? When there's so much fraud around there, how do you stand out? And I think what we're doing right now, I didn't mean to go this direction, but what we're doing right now by building, you demonstrate that you are legitimate. You demonstrate you have viable products that, that go towards buyback and burn of your, and you build token value, we have fully transparent docs team. What more do you want, right? And I think the more we do things like this, the more we stand away from those. Yes, you can say, oh, it's just crypto, right? It's all scammy. No, it's not the same. Go ahead, EverGrow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with the ongoing crypto fiascos and, scams and everything, I don't think it's a matter of proving that we're a legitimate company. I think it's a matter of time. That's going to prove itself over time with everything we have coming out and just the trust of the community and people seeing exactly what's happening, watching people make a passive income, watching the price go up as we come out with more and more utilities, and just understanding that it is a legitimate company. It's going to be time, and that's all it's going to take. Like, somebody posted the other day, when everything gets released, exactly where do you think the price is going to go? Well, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be an instant, hey, we're going to drop 3 zeros and we're going to be at $1 or what, we're not. And it's just going to be a matter of time. We're going to build the price slowly because you're going to have people selling and taking profits while we're building, which is perfectly fine. But, our hopes is that we have more buying than selling going on, which raises the price. Of course, it increases a little bit of sell pressure, but you're going to have more. As you go, more time is going to have more buyers. You're going to see less and less people selling, more people understanding what the project is. And with the marketing and everything else, yes, we might be coming out with utilities in the next week or 2 or 3, whatever, okay? but I'm not looking for anything really drastic to happen for the next few months, because like you said, we got to gain the trust. And the only way we're going to do that is to show them. People are at this stage now where it's a show me what you can do. Don't tell me what you can do. They want to see it now. And that's what we're getting ready to do, is we're getting ready to show them. I think the biggest thing we need to watch, not only new wallets, not only the price, we also need to watch the volume, because both buying and selling is going to benefit us. So I don't care if the price bounces back and forth, up and down between 2 decimal points for 6 months, as long as it's doing it at an extremely high volume, we're going to benefit. So, I'm not worried about the price. Let's see what kind of traction we can get. Let's bring people into the space. Let's bring people into the community. Let's bring people on board to the utilities to get people using them. That's the way we're going to do it.
I completely agree. I think, and part of it is volatility too, right? When you see volatility in a market where, let's just say, like, I just got an alert from CoinGecko that, we're up 6% in the last 24 hours for Lucro, right? When you see, like, okay, it's steady gains, steady, nothing crazy, like, 2, 3, 4, 500%, because usually those massive spikes come with a massive drop at some point, just because people can't predict what's going to happen next, so they're making very, very snap judgments, or they're quite volatile in terms of thinking, like, I better get my profits now because I might not be able to get them. And the more you see this kind of steady increase, gradual 3, 4, 5% here and there, and then you look over the long term, 3, 6, 9 months, 6 months, a year, then people are less likely to make those like, I better cash my bag in, otherwise I might not get as much as I want. And people are more like, what, this is a good project. They got utilities, they got this going on. I have faith in the team. I'm not worried, and I can let that thing sit for 3 years. I don't care. I'm going to do okay. That's when you start to see more buyers than sellers, right? CWP.
Yes, Steve. And darn, 6%. I was going to buy $100 worth of EGC before the space and ran out of time.
Yeah.
Darn.
That was Lucro, I believe. Lucro went up, I think, 6.
Oh, okay. That was Lucro. Well, I wanted to get some Lucro too, maybe 150 or 100 of it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that about our future. Yes, it's very, very bright, but there's something that you said that I'd kind of like to return to.
Sure.
And that is the rampant fraud that is in crypto. Yes, we need to prove ourselves to all the naysayers, but it sure would help if the crypto industry were not so rife with fraud. You mentioned penalties to the maximum part, or I did, as a lesson for everybody in defrauding cryptos. In England, a judge just sent 2 men to prison for 6 years and 3 months and 6 years and 6 months for defrauding, for a crypto scam. They operated a fake coin and a fake company, and they got and took in at around $635,000 in illegal proceeds, and they get 6 years.
Right.
As somebody that has, and I commented on this online, that, by the way, was in a website that I had not seen before, called Be in Crypto, one word with the IN in parentheses. I, as somebody who has been a victim of both physical violence and online fraud, and from all of the people that I have personally known who have also been victims, and how they relate their psychology that comes from these events, is one, a complete lack of trust in the world anymore. And in some cases, post-traumatic stress syndrome and hypervigilance. But the worst thing for me is the loss of faith and belief in my own ability to make good judgments. Because of the damage I mean, the damage that has caused people is equivalent to of crypto is equivalent to physical assaults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that the penalties should reflect that.
I agree. Anybody who's ever been through like a rug or their wallet's been scammed or anything like that, I mean, you can't describe to people what that's like unless you've been through it. It's like when you look at your wallet and it's gone, there's nothing there anymore, and you think of how much work it took to get to that, how much money that it cost you, and to some people it might not seem like a lot. It's like, that's not a big deal, right? But for other people, that took some effort, that took some planning and sacrifice in order to get that bag. And so
it's devastating.
It's
absolutely devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't think people should get off lightly for that. It doesn't matter if it's $1,000 they scammed or if it's 10 million. I kind of don't have a lot of sympathy because this is a crime that happens with. It's not accidental. This is planned. You know what I mean? And carefully orchestrated. A lot of these are very, very surreptitiously done. Where they kind of like get in there and be your friend, and those are just some of the scams, right? And
which is why, Steve, if you would ask me on how to prosecute these things and how to legally go after perpetrators who commit these sorts of fraud, you shouldn't. Of course, the total amount that they stole, whether it was thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, or millions, doesn't matter. The total amount always matters, but the most important thing is not really the amount they stole in total, but how many individuals separately they stole from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the more people they ruin lives of, the more it should add up, in my view.
I think that's a really good point because, if you scam one person, that's really bad. But if you scam hundreds or thousands, I mean, that's devastating, right? To many, many people.
Precisely. And just like you said, scamming, $1 million from someone who has many millions in their bank account is something. And scamming just $1,000 from someone who's struggling to pay rent is also devastating for them.
Exactly.
And yet there's very different amounts here, but the effect is probably even worse for the smaller guy.
Absolutely. That brings me actually to my second thing that I was going to cover, and that was fake crypto exchanges and crypto wallets. Kind of under my scams kind of heading. So I can't remember where I got this article from, but it goes like this. If you browse social media handles, you will come across sites that advertise cheap BTC, Bitcoin, says Martin Lieber. Digital asset provider strategist Market Vector Indexes. They may advertise in cryptocurrencies at 5% below market value and promise huge savings when you buy through the site, but sometimes these platforms are fake crypto products. These fake crypto products often quote outrageous returns of investment and our users are required typically to pay high fees in order to buy those cryptos, and then frequently asked to invest more and more and more. And when you try to withdraw your funds, you'll likely find that they are vanish. A fake crypto wallet is a malware scam, Liam Weber said. Scammers use it to infect a computer and eventually steal the user's private key or password. To avoid such scams, stick with reputable exchanges and wallets with their long user history. If a wallet website tries to resemble a reputable brand, you should consider it a scam and move on. And my point is, with Atlas Wallet coming out in this quarter, expect to see copycats, fake versions, things like that appear. You need to be vigilant. And if you see something that looks like a fake wallet, fake Atlas wallet or something like that, share it with the rest of us, report it. They can appear on the App Store, Google Play Store, or even websites. So, and also watch out for fake tokens that might appear to mimic Atlas wallet, things like that. So, that's just, I kind of forgot, but it seems like whenever, I can't remember the last thing that I saw. Maybe it was when LunaSky Beta came out. There was some scam that went on, and that made it look like that, and it's pretty bad. So just be careful, guys. If you see it, let us know so we can report it. I wasn't going to talk much about it this week, but we had that fake, that EGC 2.0 come out, and Sam and the team, I don't know who was all involved in that, but managed to take that down. and that's great news for all of us, because the more people that get kind of, our name associated with fake things, it just sullies our name, right? So I'm really glad that I think it was like, what was the website? Pink, was it Pink Sale or something, where they had that token listed, and they pulled it.
I think it was Pink Sale. I think so.
Yeah. So good on them, man. Good on them for doing that. Cody, you still there, Cody? I think you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Yeah, you're real choppy. I can't understand you.
While Cody's trying to come up, I want to give a heads up on another fraud thing. I haven't heard about this here. I'm sure it exists. But in London, they are cracking down on crypto ATMs being fraudulent.
Wow.
You put your money in and you get nothing back out.
That's awful. I mean, really.
In London, you said?
That's in London, ATM machines for crypto. There are a few of them here in town. I've never used one. You can actually buy Bitcoin with fiat currency.
Did you guys see what happened last week with that supposed crypto trader kid? Apparently called himself the Crypto King. I don't know if you guys saw, but I crap you not. This kid, he's 22, 23 years old, man, whatever. So he called himself the Crypto King, supposed very successful crypto investor. Essentially swindled millions and millions of dollars from many investors, spending all of Lamborghinis, big, cars, mansions, this huge lavish lifestyle, and continuously posted pictures of himself on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot, with these riches, which is how he brought in other investors to invest with him. While the whole thing came crashing down, he was actually abducted, kidnapped, by 5 of his investors who lost money with him. They beat the living crap out of him and made him post a video of himself talking into the camera, all beaten up. This is real. It's on the internet for you to watch. Where he admits that, he screwed up and it's all his fault. He's going to do whatever he can to, help the victims, blah, blah, blah. And I think they did a ransom with his parents to get him back. It's this whole mess. It's literally out of a freaking movie. But that's real life. Unbelievable.
So it's better than the other guy that I heard about, who had a massive following on Instagram, and they found parts of him in a suitcase floating down the river in South America somewhere. So, yeah, that's not pretty.
That's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. But that just shows you the stakes that we're dealing with crypto, right? We know when you scam that many people, you make a lot of enemies, and you really want to be looking over your shoulder all the time. And especially nowadays, I mean, people can, without really trying too hard, really find out who you are. And if you're doing them wrong, they're going to find out.
At some point, it catches up to you. At some point.
Exactly. EverGrow Love, thanks for being patient.
Oh, yeah. I always raise my hand. Hey, so, I posted earlier that I'm going to have to run about 5:30-ish because, my wife and I have someplace to go, and I noticed we got a hairy seal in the audience. I was wondering if we could bring him or get Cody to talk and just kind of give us I know they posted the bugs or the issues that they had worked through, how many they still had and how many were still undone. Just seeing if they could give us a quick update as to has been any progress. And
sure, I was going to go through a couple of tweets that they had sent over the week, but I'll go ahead and get it from them first. Cody or Rocket, you're more than welcome to come up, and if you'd like to provide an update on LunaSky, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me now?
I can. Very clear. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, hope you're all doing well. Obviously, you have seen some things this week from us. I guess we'll just go backwards, right? Why not? So the last tweet was just a little screenshot of a software development tool we use called Linear. It's just a management tool for software development. It's like Jira or Reiki, if you're familiar with those project management tools. And you saw the screenshot, and it said to do, and it said done, and it said in progress. Mm-hmm. Yeah. those are a couple of the categories in there. I love some of the comments too. They're like, "Oh my gosh, only 227." I'm like, "Yeah." I think you actually, Steve, said this. I was like, "Well, maybe times that by about 5 to 10." So things are great. We're right at the end here. Tomorrow, Rocket, myself, Sam, and Paul will get together and do a really comprehensive walkthrough and deep dive. They obviously check the platform throughout the whole process and have this whole time, and have, just like the testers, sent us things they have found, and we've pushed them up the chain. I think Paul and Sam may be together right now, possibly kind of prepping some stuff to bring to us tomorrow when we all four meet up. So don't quote me on that, but they talked about maybe getting together a little ahead of time, which is cool. Yeah, it's right there. So what's going to happen is Sunday we'll do our final kind of walkthrough. Anything we find in there that needs to be that's launch necessary, we will submit at that point. Basically, that's what I do, is organize all the data, get it all put together, and submit it into the software development management tool, and then follow up with the devs on our daily meetings. So obviously, I can't put any time frames on things, but Monday morning, they will wake up with the last remaining things that are necessary for launch in that tool, and they'll get straight to work on it. The goal, obviously, is sooner than later, right? As it has been. So very exciting. Yeah. Do you or anyone else have any questions for me about this? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was going to kind of piggyback there because Sam provided his tweet where he said that because I think some people were kind of expecting this week to be kind of be our week, you know what I mean? And then I think he just came out and just said you want to be as transparent as possible. We had hoped to do the final management team bug bash this week, but a combo of busy schedules, waiting for final fixes from the previous list means we had to move to this weekend, which is you just talked about. So by Monday, we will have a final list of fixes for our devs. They will need a few days to work on these, and once ready, hopefully, we will just need a couple hours for the final check. Then we complete our final deployment and migration in preparation for launch. Clearly, the bigger scheme of things, we are very close now. Just wanted to give everyone a realistic idea of the timeline. Thank you. I appreciate you providing that update as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the plan. So, yeah, we are literally right there, everyone. Very exciting times. And it's been interesting, too, kind of discussing this or conversing, with different people about, like, where we're at, why we are where we are, or why maybe things are done the way they're done. Like, and those are always good conversations to have. I guess a couple of the points I'm referring to there would be some folks would look at this and say, well, I think somebody mentioned this earlier, right? They read a tweet. Oh, it was, I think, Gerson. Was quoting Sam's tweet about how someone said, why don't you just go ahead and release it? And Sam explained, which I thought was really eloquent and wise, that, hey, well, we can't release something that could have any potential of having any fallbacks. The last thing we want to do is turn anyone else off with this launch, and that's why we've taken our time, and there's no reason to rush it at the very end, so things like that. But, yeah, I mean, gosh, it's hard to say. It's almost surreal, I think, for Rocket and me, because we're so deep in it and have been for so long that until it's out and it's been out for a bit, I don't think I'll really be able to see that outside perspective until then. You know what I mean? But,
absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting. Back to that statement I think Paul made a while back, which made a lot of sense. It's like, when you're so close to the forest, you can't really see the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever that old statement is. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but I'm very excited. I know that everyone here is, and gosh, I'm almost at a loss of words, which is rare for me. If anyone that knows me knows that, I'm almost having a hard time articulating, what I really feel about it, because it's just like, it's been go for so long.
Right.
We meet every single day. We manage and organize data from these things every single day. We keep up with them. We continually bring them up in meetings. Our meetings have gotten, it's really cool to think back about how our first meetings, how they were run, and just like the efficiency or lack thereof, to now how our meetings are. They're very efficient. They're very to the point. We can have lightning rounds that are extremely productive and efficient without wasting time, because everybody's tired, right, man? Those devs are working their hides off, at this and other things. Same thing with everyone over here. And then the community, of course, doing your part. So we sincerely appreciate everyone out there, the the continued support, positive attitudes, logical outlooks, things like running the spaces, Steve, things like doing the giveaways to Denny, things like just, being there and helping each other, and spreading the good word. So, again, we can't thank all of you enough.
Yeah, I think it really, really does take all of us really to make this successful. You guys can only do so much in terms of, kind of like keeping the work done. And of course, we can't all see what you're all doing, but we know you guys enough and trust you guys enough to know that you need our support, and we can do whatever we can to help. And it's my pleasure, and I can honestly say it's my honor. So really, thank you.
Yeah, hey, our pleasure. We're all here for it. We're all doing our parts. Whether you're, regardless, whether you're just a holder out there, who's positive and out there, being part of the community, or you're, staff mod, or you're, rocket. I mean, everybody is doing their part, and it all is integral, so
Absolutely.
It all goes together. Pieces of a puzzle, right?
100%. I did get a couple questions from, he's in the audience here, Bert. Would you have time for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know if we're getting too far ahead of ourselves here, but Bert had asked, does the team have a plan to expand the scope of LunaSky beyond pictures and music, NFTs, etc., to make tickets for concert, luxury items such as watches, cars, etc., accessible in the future? Will there be a P2P swap function? That was one of the questions.
Kind of break it up. What's the very last thing you mentioned about P2P, person to person? What was that?
Will there be a P2P swap function?
Oh, nice. Don't know yet. We haven't actually talked about that. Everything else in that, in the first part of that question, yes, Sam has spoke about that many times, and so have we. Of course, the goal is for wider adoption outside of just crypto. The goal is, and I think NFTs in general at this point in 2023, and probably for some time now, as we're all seeing, a lot of people say, well, the NFT market is dead. It's dead. It's dead. Well, it's not dead. It's changing. Right.
Exactly.
It's not about just the JPEGs anymore. It's not about just that. That whole market has started to change, which is good. Now it can be phase two of the NFT world, if you will. And what would that contain? Well, I mean, more useful things, utilities, things that can relate to other aspects, like mentioned, their ticketing, proof of ownerships. The possibilities are really limitless, right? So, yeah, I see a lot of people out there, and I totally understand it. Like, well, NFT market's totally dead now, never coming back. I don't disagree with that, actually. It's not, and I don't think it should come back in the way that it was. It's time for it to evolve and move to the next step, the next phase of its existence. So I'm excited because that's how I'm looking at it, and that's how I think we all should be pushing for the future of it to be. Otherwise, it will just fade out and be nothing, and there's so much potential there for it to be a great number of things beyond its original existence of JPEG pictures, right?
Right.
So,
maturing market, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the infancy of it, right? Can you imagine in 50 years, 100 years, what maybe could be going on with NFTs?
Right. Absolutely.
It's like, wow. I mean, you can't, right? You can only imagine what you know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So it'll be so interesting in 5 years what's going on, 10 years.
Looking into the past, even. Can you even imagine where NFTs were right now? It's like so much has changed.
Absolutely. 100%.
The second question, I'll get to you in a second there, CWP, thank you, was, has the team dealt with a comic market? The market in Japan is huge. It may be possible to acquire old Japanese animes in digital form as NFT collectibles and make them tradable. I thought that's an interesting concept.
I love that, and that's the exact kind of thing that we all should be looking into, is how to expand this thing beyond the traditional marketplace, the traditional NFT or non-fungible holdings, stuff like that is amazing. Don't you love that? Like, that question is, it's not just a question, is it? It's an idea. It's like, well, this would be something to look into, and I totally agree. I love that. I've got some similar ideas like that too, like really using things like pop culture and what's current, I don't want to get too heavy into that because I could tangent off, but yeah, that's awesome. I love that. If you will, send that over to me.
Yeah.
Oh, is it in the list there?
Bert is here. Yeah, he. It was cool. It was a tweet that he had replied to, and so You know, the great thing about the NFT Marketplace is that really it's built for the users, and you can kind of do what you want with it, right? So if that's something that you're passionate about, then find out what it takes to take it to the next level. And you know what I mean? And if you want to share it, great. But if you want to take it on yourself, as long as it's legal and legit, then go for it. See what happens.
Yeah, agreed. We kind of spoke about this a few weeks ago, right? We talked about how it's the people who innovate, right? And, you know, I mean, from experimenting and pushing and trying to reach that next level for a product or an idea or whatever, you know. So it's like, I can only imagine what people are going to come up with. I know they're out there right now already developing new amazing concepts that go into the NFT world itself. Like it's exciting, right?
Yeah, even things like medical records in NFTs. I mean, you know, because you have the security, right? Yeah, potentially. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing stuff. CWP, go ahead.
I wanted to say thank you to Cody for mentioning the family and all of the work that's being done out here to promote EverGrow. And I thought of something hokey that I had to share, which is that it takes a family to raise a crypto.
Love it.
And Cody, I wanted to ask you, because I have an assumption that I've made that I think is accurate, and that is that you, Rocket, Sam, Paul, the devs, and everybody else in this project are working 12 to 18 hour or more days. Am I correct?
Yeah, you are. I mean, realistically, I couldn't put a number on it because it's not a clock in type scenario. But what I can say is it's every single day. And you're like you're on call all the time.
Yeah, it sort of creeps into every moment of your day. And so there isn't really a full hour where you're not touching something LunaSky related.
Yeah, the reality is like pretty much the majority of our free time is dedicated to this. And not just our free time, but even our other time multitask to this. That's how important it is, you know? It's not something that, like Rocket said, isn't a part of basically every moment of our day. Like literally, I mean, we're messaging, we're organizing data, we're testing this, we're doing that, we're talking to this person, we're setting up a meeting over here, we're taking notes, we're putting together a thing. There are a million tasks every day that go on behind the scenes, big and small alike, that are all pieces of this puzzle, right? I was actually thinking about this CWP this week because, you know, I was just thinking about like my family and stuff. And I was thinking about anyone in this business's family and just like how much time all of these people dedicate away from that stuff to be here and do this, you know? And I was really just kind of humbled by like, wow, you know, like all of these people that work in Web3, like they are the only ones that know what it's like, because if you're that deep in it and you're priorities are integrity, number one, and number two, everything else positive, right? We've talked about the not so positive and the scammies out there right now that seem to be popping up everywhere. Then you're committed and you're consistent. There's a lot of folks out there that are consistent day in and day out with this, and it's hard. And sometimes they suffer, you know, sometimes their personal life suffers a little bit, but that's the job. It's not for everybody, you know, and I would never, and I don't think anyone else would ever blame somebody for saying, hey, you know what? I'm tired. This isn't for me anymore. Yeah, because, I mean, it's a lot of work, you know? We kind of talked about last week about it. Yeah.
I just want to publicly say thank you to you, the devs, the whole team, for what you guys are doing, what you're sacrificing, because it is so going to greatly benefit all of us here outside of the corporate world. And it's greatly, greatly appreciated.
That's very kind. Thank you so much. It means a lot to all of us, you know. Not that we are looking for thanks, you know. I mean, we're here to do the job, and we're here as part of the community, and we're no different than anyone else out there, right? We just happen to be in this chair sometimes, or we have a hand in the completion of the work, right? Or the non-completion of it even sometimes when we've made mistakes, you know. So, but we're all in it together. We're all exactly the same, you know. It just happens to be this day, I'm the one who does this thing for this particular project. And another day, somebody else is doing this thing, you know? So,
and they may never hear it, but to your family and Rocket and the other Dan and all the people, that are, that are sacrificing in here. Hawkish, I see Hawkish in here, Hyperbeam.
Yeah.
I'm going to, love on Drake Fist too, and just thank you to your families. They'll never hear it probably, but thank you to your families for your patience and dedication and at giving us the room to do our jobs. Even though it's hard, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, my wife will be talking to me and she's like, "You didn't hear what I said, did you?" And I'm just so busy, and I feel terrible about it. But she understands, she gets it, and that is it. Like I couldn't do it by myself. I have my family behind me. You know what I mean? So thank you 100%. To your family.
Yeah. Hey, thank you to everyone out there. I get it. It's like, because when you're saying that out loud too, it really makes me think about, well, everyone out there right now in this space, right? And not just people here, but anyone in crypto in general, whether they work in Web3 or they're a holder and they're in the community and active, that takes a lot of your time. It's your passion, in a sense. But it's a lifestyle too, and we know the difference. It's like, it is a lifestyle at this point for every person in this room. It is a lifestyle. I don't think anyone in here would say otherwise because we live, breathe, and this stuff every single day. Steve, you, CWP, Gerson, people out there, who are investors. It's the same thing, it all comes back to that, how it's pretty wild how you think about like 20, 30 years ago, communities existed out there, and this is kind of pre-social media and internet and stuff. So communities were, maybe in your actual community, there's a club, clubhouse or YMCA or Elks or Masons, whatever, It's wild how now it's digital, it's virtual, right? We all exist together in this virtual community, and we're all like this big family. And we've made a lot of friends, a lot of contacts and network, and a lot of folks we'll probably be in touch with for a very, very long time. At least I hope so,
Yeah, and it's like you said earlier, it's not something you could just like clock in, clock out of, right? It's omnipresent. I'm at work and I take a minute just to, read something, and I'll quickly check in, see what's going on here, you know what I mean? And work on something else, maybe jot down a couple notes for the space. But I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. I really wouldn't, I could probably lose a few things, in my life in terms of work and be dedicated to this and be completely happy, you know what I mean? And, because it's just a whole different, it's a whole different experience, a whole different community. It's fantastic. I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing.
I wouldn't either. Hey, there's no. Oh, there it is. Yep. There's no turning back. For me, it makes me think of one other thing too, and this is, I think, a piece of advice I would like to give anyone and everyone out there that, ever got into something like this. Like I was kind of talking to my lady last night about. I was like, I just like. It just happened, like I bought this coin. If I hadn't seen that video, I not about that coin. I got in Discord at that point, et cetera, down the line. One piece of advice I'd give to anyone that is interested in getting into behind the scenes or working in this kind of environment, or just in general out there with any type of business, lean on your strengths, like everybody has got one or more skill set that's unique to them or that they do really, really well. Everybody, lean into those things, and be very open to others' skills and celebrate their ability to do something, even if it's the same thing you're doing and they do it a little better. Look at it as a coachable opportunity for you. These are the things I would say to anyone out there that's interested to get in or move up, in a company. Lean on your strengths, be coachable, and be versatile and open to always learning, and pushing yourself. And set proper expectations with yourself, Don't talk about things you're going to do if you're not going to do them. Whether it be a personal thing between you and maybe a peer, a fellow employee, a boss, whatever. It's like, stick to it. Don't be afraid to ask for help, Always be open to learning and being the student, It's like, yeah, you can delegate tasks all day long, but there's also something to be said for the consistency and the effort and fortitude to learn new skills along the way, I think that's really important.
Absolutely. You talked about strengths. Did you ever read this book? It's actually called Strength Finders.
No, I never have read that.
It is excellent. And basically, the summary is that understanding your strengths, being able to identify what your strengths are, and build on your strengths, rather than, most people would say, well, I'm really terrible at math. I got to really focus on getting my math better, right? Here's the thing. Don't focus on your weaknesses because you'll never really get good at your weaknesses. focus on your strengths and let other people work on the things they're good at, which might be your weakness. And if you contribute that together, you get better as a whole.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Again, everyone has strengths, lean into those. Like I know what I can bring to the table here. I know what I would like to be better at here too, and what I'm making plans for, let's say, a year, 2, 3 down the road to learn and become better at. I know what Rocket's strengths are, and he knows what mine are, and we know how to balance that work out between each other. Same thing with Paul and Sam, etc. So definitely.
Yeah, it's actually written by Gallup. Gallup polls. So it's under them. You can actually find it under there, and I think they do. I don't know if it's the same author, but what color's your parachute, things like that. But Strength Fighter, cool. I think I've done both versions, and they're pretty accurate. And you kind of gain an insight into yourself. It's kind of funny, like you said that you know what Rocket's strengths are. It's funny because you can identify what other people's strengths are sometimes better than you can identify your own, and because people see you differently than you see yourself. So
yeah, great point. Absolutely.
Got a quick question from an alien. He said, "Thanks for hosting these spaces. Become a regular feature on my weekend. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it." Quick question. A while ago, Sam introduced the new designer at 3D Cole to the EGC fam. I think the new EverGrow man character. And I was wondering if he's been working on anything else. That's a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. I'll let Rocket answer if he can. I'll give him a second. Let me pull up my thing. Is he still here? If not, I can answer this. Is he still up there? He's there. There he is.
Hey. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, my signal's kind of garbage here. Could you run me through the last 5 seconds of that?
What does sardines taste like? I'm just kidding.
I didn't have enough time to go too deep in it.
Drakefist knows the answer to that question.
So the question was, what's that? Go ahead.
A fellow connoisseur. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. A while ago, Sam introduced the new designer at 3D Cole to the EGC fam. I think that he designed the new EverGrow man character, and the question was, I was wondering if he's been working on anything else.
Yeah, so we actually have some neat ones coming out here soon, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, and so, he's a just fantastic 3D modeler. Yeah, he's brilliant.
I absolutely love his version of the EverGrow man. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that together, and man, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, we have some pretty funny ones coming out here soon. I think you guys will enjoy.
Awesome, good timing too. Good stuff. The next, if anyone wants to jump in, just let me know.
I'm just going to say really quick, I just want to repeat his Twitter handle, at 3D Cole, Cole. Give him a follow. He's a super nice guy, too, everybody.
Thank you for sharing that.
Solid human being.
I'll jump in briefly because of something that Cody said about moving up in the company and reaching out and also not being afraid to ask for help. When I started the Instagram account, I got buried. And I reached out to the community for help, and Steve stepped in and took that over completely for me. And now look at where Steve is. And I just want to give a shout out to him and the awesome job he's been doing for all of us.
I appreciate that, CWP. And you got it started. So if it wasn't for you, it probably wouldn't have happened the way it did. So I'm grateful to you. Thank you. So the next... There's lots of that today. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. So the next thing I was going to talk about was EGC staking. Obviously, based on the timelines that we have heard, after LunaSky, we believe staking will be probably next in line, unless Lucro Games takes the lead on that one. So I talked a little bit about the video that I did for Lucro staking, which is on YouTube now. I'm personally really looking forward to EGC staking. I think this is going to be a really, really great way for you to earn passive incomes, passive reward. Keep in mind your EGC staking, your staked EGC token, will still get reflections. So even if it's not kind of technically in your wallet anymore because it's on part of the staking contract, you still earn rewards, and you will get those like when the contract's done. So, which is great. I wasn't sure about that, and I think it was the last space or two, and somebody had said yes, absolutely. Was it Paul or yourself, Cody, that said that? Can't remember now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If it was last week, it may have been me, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah. So it's good because, I mean, a lot of people say, well, if I stake, do I still lose my passive rewards from the volume of EGC? And no, you do not. You still get those rewards. Paul had said in the last space that the team's desire was to make EGC staking very attractive. So I think that will be really interesting to see how that works, because very attractive rewards often attract very many people to stake, so they can get those rewards, which can drive up the price of EGC. And staking rewards are basically based on how many tokens you own, how many other people are staking, your percentage of the total staking pool, and basically the total amount of staking tokens as a reward to be distributed. I probably said that in an unclear way, and my apologies. So the reward is usually expressed as an APY, or annual percentage yield. For example, on Brew Labs, Lucro has a APY of 9.29% at current. It will change. At one point it was like 10, and then it dropped down to 8, now it's back up to 9 something. So I believe offering staking will have a really, really positive impact on EGC. It encourages people to hold, right? But you're also taking tokens out of circulation, which could, affect the price. So it's kind of a win-win. I'm curious to know, I think it was 12 trillion, last I remember, that will be allocated. That was the number that I was told, I believe, allocated for staking rewards. So that's a nice little bag to be distributed to people who stake. So hopefully we will see that very soon in this quarter. And Rocket posted a picture in this thread. Great space, Steve. Thank you so much, Rocket. That's a really cool, incredible work.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you a sneak peek of it. That's one of the ones we're working on.
Yeah, very, very cool. And Habibi said, my eyes are so heavy, so I think I'm going to fall asleep soon. Thank you, Steve. See you all tomorrow. Thank you, Habibi. Thank you for spending, a little bit of time with us. Have a great sleep, man. So, yeah, do you guys have anything you want to add to that whole idea of EGC staking? I know it's going to be triple audited. I was a little surprised by that, Cody.
Yeah, so we had a staking meeting this week. We have one every week. It was really good. Yeah, that also is right at the very end. I mean, contracts are done. Yes, there will be multiple audits on this thing from multiple parties. Some of the last things they were working on were just finalizing some things for improved data fetching. Let me pull my notes up real quick, and I'll tell you. Improved data fetching, finalizing some stuff with the smart contract to complete the compound function. We've seen the stake and unstake function work, and withdrawal. We've seen that too. So, yeah, they're doing some last minute stuff there, prepping for getting the audit stuff ready. Sam and Paul will step in to have it audited also outside of one of the companies that they're going with. I'm not sure which one. There's going to be a few. One of them is going to happen through the devs. Two of them are going to happen outside of that. So let me take a look.
The first thing you described, can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not familiar with the term. Is it data fetching, you think you said, or?
Yeah, essentially just the data that's going to come in from the different pools that will exist. So live data, and obviously, just like when you look in Brew Labs, right? You
Gotcha.
See how many are staked, what's, the API. All of that live data fetching is crucial to be pretty instant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want any delays there between that stuff updating. Even if the delays are seconds, you want that stuff to be fetched as fast as possible. So these are all back-end things they're doing, similar to LunaSky, right? I mean, very, very similar. That does bring a point up. I would like to, if we're okay, to circle back really quick about Luna. One of the things they're working on, the final things, is IPFS has been having its own issues regionally. I'm sorry, I don't want to say regionally, but in different regions for the past few weeks, kind of like Wallet Connect V2, right, was having some issues when they first closed their V1. They're finalizing some things with just some of the IPFS stuff that has had a few hiccups the past few weeks. But those are looking great, coming along really well and really clean. The Wallet Connect stuff seems to be doing great. I remember those first 2 weeks, it was a little bit shaky, but that seems to be in really good shape. And again, prepping for that migration and going live. So yeah, doing the last couple things. Some of those to-do items you saw there, I didn't show you what they were, but I showed you the number, right? Or the in progress stuff. Yes. Some of that has to do with those things, prepping for database migrations, doing a couple of last minute functional things on the back end. And then some UI stuff, there's obviously some things visually that we want to finalize. And just like tomorrow, we'll probably have a whole new list, but the goal will be to address that stuff super quick.
There's, I know there was some talk about the app as well. Is that going to be an Android and Apple version, or?
The app, are you referring to Atlas or LunaSky?
LunaSky.
Okay, yeah, there won't be an application for LunaSky. It's a website. Now, maybe one day down the road there could be. That'd be fantastic, But yeah, it's just a website. So just like
I think we need a few naps before we start tackling an app.
Yeah, I need a couple naps, and then we'll see what's up there.
Yeah, I thought maybe I misunderstood on one of the when you were talking about apps or something. Maybe it was related to Atlas. What?
Yeah, because that's an application, right? The wallet.
Right.
So Android Store, Google Play Store, and then iOS App Store.
So, do you think, based on how people are going to use LunaSky, will it really matter how they're using it on mobile versus desktop versus maybe on a tablet? Will there be a preferred way to people to use LunaSky?
User preference, it won't matter. It's the same website either way.
There's no functionality trade-off going to the mobile version of the website versus the desktop. Everything's just formatted for the platform,
gotcha.
or the medium, I guess. Yeah, but you don't lose anything using. Like I use my iPhone for just about everything, so I want to make sure specifically that on mobile you have full functionality.
Which is something that, a lot of people don't put a lot of weight to. But personally, I absolutely hate when I can't do something on mobile and I have to do the desktop. I absolutely hate that.
I feel you. Like the worst is when you try to click, how the browsers have the request desktop version and it does nothing. And you're stuck with this half feature website. I hate it. So yeah, LunaSky is not going to be like that. You're going to have the full functionality regardless of what device you're using to access it.
That's also important because, I'm using that with some of the platform I use at work, and it just does not work well on mobile at all. And yet, a lot of times in the field, I don't have any option but to use mobile. So yeah, that's really good news.
Yeah, it's funny because the devs have laughed at Rocket and myself a few times about how diligent we've been about and I think just strict about the whole mobile aspect of it, because like he said, I also am heavily a mobile user with a lot of things because I'm on the move a lot. It's so funny just thinking about that. They'll say, well, guys, you're telling me you'll actually use your mobile to do NFTs? I'm like, all the time, partner.
No one's actually going to use their phone. Like, oh yeah, they will. I certainly will.
They will. Like, hey, what's interesting is that's all I ever really use to access marketplaces. Not that I haven't accessed them on desktop. Of course we have, but they're like, wow, okay, cool. So I thought that was interesting how heavy we were on making sure that mobile, which includes tablets, right? Those are all considered mobile devices.
Absolutely, yeah. One question that I did run into recently on, I think it was on Discord, where people had LunaSky NFTs. Well, they purchased them on LunaSky, and they don't show up in the wallet the same way anymore. Is that because beta has gone kind of dark?
So no, it has more to do with the IPFS issues that Cody was talking about. There's just issues with a lot of things just across the board for NFT file storage. So that's part of it. But once everything gets migrated, it shouldn't be an issue. Once all the IPFS issues are solved and we migrate everyone over, it shouldn't matter. Because once the creators decide to migrate a collection, it's going to be a brand new NFT on the creator's own contract, right? So it's not going to be a LunaSky contract anymore. It's going to be Moon's contract that the NFTs are going to be on, for example. It'll be your own. So you'll truly have ownership of the things that you create, and you're not going to be held to LunaSky in that regard.
I don't think I truly understood that until what you just said.
Just to give you some clarity on that, just a little bit of color. So the way it currently works, when you create, as a creator, create an NFT on LunaSky, someone mints it or you mint it and sell it, it's being added to the LunaSky contract. This is why when you go on OpenSea and try to find your LunaSky NFTs, you can't sort by collection, you can't sort by anything. They're just all in there, hodgepodge together, because they're all in one contract. So moving forward, as we get out of the beta, you're now going to have each collection will have its own dedicated contract, and that includes separate contract to enforce the royalties as well. And then for new mints, you're going to own your own minting contract also. The goal is to make this fully decentralized, so that every step of the way the creator has ownership over what they're making.
Yeah,
right. So basically, ownership of the contract, which is something you didn't have even on OpenSea.
That's right. 100%. Yeah. And we spoke about this aspect of it too, if I may, just really quick, Rocket. It's for anyone out there that's only ever used the LunaSky beta, this is going to be a little bit different for you. You're going to have multiple contract calls, to Rocket's point, because it's giving you every opportunity to have ownership over everything from the mint all the way up. So we'll be here for you, though. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, we're going to be here to help, educate along the way. We've got the messaging portal there, too, which allows you to get some very quick, direct answers on how-tos, plus speak directly with a real person if you want, etc. So, yeah.
And once you've done it, once you learn how it works and you've gone through the process of creating a collection, it's going to be pretty, you'll get it. It's intuitive at that point. But if it's not something you're used to, it's just a matter of just following the steps. As long as you follow the steps, you'll be okay. It's a multi-step process. Just go one to the next in order, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'll let you finish, Cody. Thank you.
Oh, I was just going to say, Rocket, maybe it'd be cool. Give them a little bit of synopsis about, the difference between minting on 721 versus 1155. And what. Give them that expectation of what they're going to see and what they're not going to see specifically when they do this until a mint happens, stuff like that. Tell them about that.
So you're creating a collection. The way the format's going to work, it's almost like the EverGrow Man mystery boxes. Think of it that way, to where you have all these images and everything preloaded, but until someone mints them, they don't know which one they're getting. And that's pretty traditional for the way most projects are run, because what you don't want to have happen is that people just cherry pick, the good ones, so to speak, quote unquote, and then you're left with a lot of unsold NFTs. And so that's why you also have that ability to delay the reveal. So if you don't want people to know what they have until everyone's, bought what they're going to buy, so that way, have the best odds of selling more NFTs. As a user, you go to the collection site. If it's still minting, right? So they haven't all minted out, it's going to be blind to them. They'll just know whatever information you give them in terms of what's in there. So you can have, for example, a banner image with some examples of the NFTs. You can have a link to a website if you're really going the full collection route and want to have. Hey, buddy. Sorry, I have a 1-year-old. I don't know if you guys can hear that. He's going nuts. But so you'll be able to have a collection of pieces you like that you made, and then promote them so folks mint them, and you don't have to worry about the issue. For example, we had on the beta where you'd make a collection, and there's like one or two ones that just get sniped, and then a bunch of them sit there, right? So that's gonna be less of an issue this format. Now going forward, we're introducing the 1155 standard into LunaSky at a later time, but it became a matter of, if you wanted to make it as feature rich as possible launch, you had to choose one and just really nurture it first. Then once that's solid, you can add another token standard and you can have it more the other way. But this also means that each NFT is really an NFT. So each one is unique. There will you can't really have like a quantity of an NFT. There's just, oh my God, I don't know if you guys can hear that. There's only one of the NFT, so it is unique. You can upload, for example, in a collection, have 50 of the same image in there if you want to do it that way. But each one is going to be their own unique NFT.
Interesting.
If that makes sense.
So I think it's like Zelda's got the EverGrow pets coming out, right? And so theoretically, they could be this random where you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, which builds into that kind of that hype, right?
Yeah, you know you're missing one of his pets. You don't know which one you get until either depends how he decides to structure it. If you find out right when it's minted, or it's whenever he decides that the deal is going to happen. Right, it could be a whole event if he wants to. And so that's the way that projects and large collections they operate. And of course, with this LunaSky, the version I call it, want to drive volume. The goal is to drive volume, and volume, especially in this market, is coming from collection.
Right.
And so we cater to that first, or so, the smaller pieces. But ultimately, everything's going to have a home in LunaSky.
Yeah, exactly. Well said, Rocket. Thank you. One thing I'll echo on there is it's going to be a different experience, for folks that are not used to minting on a 721 standard, because, like Rocket said, you don't get to pick what you're going to get. It's like a mystery box in a way. This is the traditional way. This is how platforms like OpenSea were really inviting for very large projects. And again, to Rocket's point, that's what brings in the volume.
Yeah, and I want to jump in real quick just to make sure that there's one bit of clarity. So once a project is minted out, right, so they've all been minted, then it just goes to the secondary market, right? So folks can list their NFT, and then you can pick and choose what you want. But the benefit will be to the person that minted them, right, because they got them first.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You technically could mint your own if you wanted to, and then list it for sale or auction. But you don't necessarily have to do that, because when you list it to be minted, someone mints it, you get that mint price that you've requested, right? And to Rocket's point, at that point, it can go on sale or auction on the secondary market. So if you had set royalty wallets there for it, well, boom, there you go. There's your second revenue coming in. It's like, so, yeah.
Is there going to be, I remember with beta, like with minting, there was this kind of like two-step process that I remember, there was you connect your wallet, obviously, and then I think I can remember you mint it, and there's two steps, right, where you pay essentially two small gas fees, whatever. Is that going to work exactly the same way?
No. This is the big difference here. So when you're doing this on the 721 standard, and the way we've set it up so that you have ownership over every aspect of it, as decentralized as it possibly can be, there's going to be several contract calls. What you're used to on the beta is, one or two contract calls. That is it. And you don't really own that contract. The platform does.
Right.
So, and we've, I think, shown some pictures of this section before. This is called the settings section on the platform. And you get to the settings section for a collection by going into a collection that you have uploaded. And there's a little gear wheel. It says settings. You tap on it. And then you're into the settings area, which is where you do four things, essentially. You set the mint proceed, okay? Right? And then you deploy a contract if it's a new collection. If it's an existing collection, you just take that contract address and throw it in the field right here. And there you go. So you set the mint proceed to either deploy new or put in the address of an existing collection. Then you set the mint date. And then you set the royalties. And then you upload the NFT and create the collection. And that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard people... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just reiterating one thing. It's multiple contract calls, but there's a reason for that, because you're setting a contract for the mint and deploying that. You're setting, a contract for the royalties, right, which you can go back and change at any time. And in doing that, you are setting a contract.
You do this once per collection, right? So once you've made a collection, you're going through these steps. You don't have to go through those steps anymore.
No.
From there, you can just add NFTs however you want.
You could change something if you wanted to, but it would change whatever you change. But no, you don't have to repeat these after doing it the first time. But yeah, it'll be different for people because there'll be multiple contract calls. But that's the whole purpose of it, and that's how it traditionally works. If you went over to OpenSea, anyone who's been over there, like Moon could attest to this. Like that's the same thing on a 721 there. So.
But on net, you're going to be saving money on gas because you don't have to do NFTs one at a time.
Interesting.
Being able to do the batch upload, the bulk upload.
Yeah.
I mean, you can upload 300 NFTs with one contract call. That's
more.
Of it.
That's a big savings.
Or more, right? So.
Or more, 1,000. Up to you, 10,000, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and it might not sound like a big thing if you're doing it, or a big savings if you're doing it on Binance Chain, BSC or Polygon. But as soon as you start talking about ETH, oh boy, yeah, trust me, that's a huge advantage to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And Moon, where is all the money in NFTs right now? Like, where's the liquidity? Is it on BNB or is it on ETH? Moon?
Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Right now, where's all the liquidity in NFTs? Is it in BNB or ETH? Where's all the money?
As far as I see, it's still in ETH.
Exactly. And so, things that optimize gas are going to be really important to be able to bring those folks over.
Which is astounding to me even to this day, considering how inefficient ETH is and how expensive it is. But, it was the birthplace of NFTs, so...
So, question for Cody Rocket. Will LunaSky walk you through the process so that people can kind of like, okay, this is what I do next. This is what I do next. Versus
step by step, just like Cody was saying, it's literally you have these steps you go through. As long as you follow the steps and don't skip any, you're done. It's hard to make it too much simpler. Obviously, we'll do things as we go on and see if people use it to make it more intuitive, but it's pretty much, it's paint by numbers right there.
Yeah, each section tells you what the section is, why, and what you need to do. So, but like Rex said, I'm sure we'll improve upon even that. But we've tried to get it as intuitive as possible, But again, there may be some foreign concepts here for folks who are not used to this type of platform. That's okay. That's what we're going to be there for, is to help, help them acclimate along the beginning of the journey. So, yeah.
It's as intuitive as it can be, right? Again, I've said it many times before. NFTs by default, natively, are not that easy to get your head around, especially if you're new.
Exactly.
Rasan, did you have a question? Thank you for being patient. I appreciate it.
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
How much volume do you guys project, envision for LunaSky? I don't know if I make sense with this question. Like, how much market share from OpenSea are you guys expecting? Because I usually see, and I have a picture of that screenshot, I guess, where like, if you have 1 billion or as many tokens of this, of EverGrow, and if EverGrow makes 5, 10, 20 million a day, you get this in reward. So the question is, how much of that volume also goes towards the whole ecosystem?
It's funny, Paul brought
so
that
it's
up.
Like two questions.
Yeah, Paul actually talked a little bit about this last week, but go ahead, Cody. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the revenue that's generated from these utilities goes to EverGrow, all of it. So, how that's dispersed out obviously is up to Sam, but all of that is going back to the EverGrow ecosystem for things like buyback and burn. So now projections, there's no way to make a projection right now. There's no data to even do an analysis of to make a conservative projection. So there's just no way to say, But like we've talked about, the goal obviously is, the goal is to be inviting to large projects first, right? Because that's where the volume is on these things. And to be inviting to aspects outside of just the traditional NFT platforms, pictures, etc. One day down the road, ticketing, a number of different things, hopefully. So, yeah. No way I could really make a guesstimation. I don't think anybody could guess what are we projecting volume-wise, Give it 6 months, maybe we could have a better idea,
Yeah, looking back is always it shouldn't be always, but it can be a very good predictor of the future. I bet you honestly, if you were to ask OpenSea that question, they probably couldn't answer it either at the beginning, because they had no idea. Yes, they had investors and they could do projections, and but I guarantee they were wrong, because they didn't foresee how things were going to develop, because it's such a rapidly changing environment. So
yeah, and we don't have anything to base it off of right now. There is no control test, right? There's no data yet. So until we get some data in there, we couldn't even think about it, because then it would just be an absolute shot in the dark guess,
And beta wouldn't even be necessarily even a good comparison, because it couldn't do what LunaSky could do.
Not at all. Beta was just that, like a beta. It was a proof of concept at best. But really only the EverGrow community used the beta.
Yeah.
So it's not a good sample size.
Never promoted it. We never marketed it. Anything. We, left it as it was.
Yeah, interesting. Moon, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say something else, and now you made me laugh with the proof of concept. Proof of concept, and yet it's still better than the Binance NFT Marketplace. But that's besides the point. Anyways, I was going to say what Cody was talking about, making a prediction on or about what the profits are going to be, or the volume generated from LunaSky. And he took the words out of my mouth. Whatever number he could have given you is a complete shot in the dark. It's just a complete guesswork, and he would have been wrong. So there's nothing to be said there or to do there yet, as of yet. But secondly, you talked about open seekers, or at least the new LunaSky compared to OpenSea. And I can tell you this: if LunaSky got 1% of OpenSea's user base and volume, it would be a huge success. If we got 5%, EGC would moon beyond your wildest dreams. So, take that as you will, but it's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even 1% would be massive.
It would.
Even like you consider, let's say, 10, 15 different projects come on board, right? All it takes is one to really be a hit, and it kind of goes astronomical from there, right? You just can't predict it, though.
Sure. Well, think about it. It's almost like launch pads, like token launch pads, right? So, Pink Sale, they had their big winners, and that's the reason anyone knows about Pink Sale. If Pink Sale hadn't had, really the big boys launch there, it just wouldn't have happened. No one would know who they are. Someone else would have taken their spot. It's not anything particularly special about Pink Sale versus any of the others. They just happen to launch the projects that moon. And so you have to be as inviting as possible to all these projects, because it is a numbers game, right? You want as many projects as possible to mint on LunaSky, because that's just going to bring more eyeballs. And if one of them happens to do particularly well, we ride their coattails.
That's really, really good. Hassan, did you have another question?
No, I was just going to add to what Moon Andre said, that 1%, 5%. I was just dreaming like 10%, because, like someone said, the Ethereum gas fee is so much high. I mean, I don't buy anything through Ethereum, using Ethereum, because it's too much. Sometimes you pay $20 to buy something that is $5. Anyway, and if OpenSea that they have so much volume despite that, and you guys make that so much easier for cheaper and keep the quality, I think and hope that it's gonna be minimum probably 10%.
I like your optimism. Yeah,
I mean, if we got 10%.
I would need to get on heart medication if we did 10% of OpenSea.
Yeah, that's funny. It's a good point.
If that happens, and my future boat will be named to LunaSky.
Well, let's think about it like this. Like, let's just do some quick numbers while we're here. So let's just say $1 billion. Like, let's say OpenSea did $1 billion 1 year. I don't know if they ever did or not. Is that?
I think profit. I want to say 600 million in a year. I think.
Okay, so close to it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 500 million then, right? What's 1% of 500 million? Like that's a pretty big number itself, you know. Let's see real quick. So 1% of 500 million is $5 million, right? 1% of 500 million is $5 million. I don't know about y'all, but $5 million is a lot of money. You know,
Absolutely,
that's a lot of duca.
That's a lot of buyback and burn of EverGrow.
That's a lot of new additions to a platform, and a lot of buyback and burn, and a lot of other development. Who knows what else, you know?
So it looks like I'm just looking at back in 2022, March of 2022, and they made $61 million in that month. As of this, let's see here, as of this March, they made 172,000. So just because of the market in general, so it's a big difference, right?
Difference.
Yeah. So I guess in 2022 they earned 1.1 billion. So you were right on the money. So yeah. So but that just shows you how much money there is in the market.
Yeah, it's wild.
But
big
remember,
numbers.
Sorry, go ahead, Cody.
No, it was good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say. Remember, that was during the crazy hype of NFTs and when NFTs first reached mainstream, and when a drawing drawn on a napkin at the coffee shop was worth $50,000. So those days are over. Those days are over. But that doesn't mean the NFTs are gone. They're just coming back in a different form, a more mature and evolved form going forward.
Yeah, I think it's that rebirth phase. It's like time for phase 2 of the NFT market itself. And I think phase 2 is where we're going to see, I'm calling it that, by the way. That's not an official term, everybody. If it is, go ahead and send me 10%. But yeah, I think it's like, right, it's evolving. So I think phase 2 is going to have a lot of things that like utilities and stuff coming along with these NFTs now being used in games, and who knows what else. One thing I did want to mention too, back to the platform functionality and the whole like going through the settings section where you set your mint, your royalties, you upload your NFT, everything. There are 2 places in there that, because people have asked us about this since the launch of the beta, where you can donate to essentially EverGrow's ecosystem to buy back and burn. There's 2 little spots there called LunaSky donation. So, obviously the platform fee is 2%, but if anyone felt inclined to donate a percentage, whether it was a one-time donation or ongoing donation per percentage on the secondary market, they totally can. So there's a little spot there that says LunaSky donation. It's got a pre-populated wallet address. It goes to our buyback and burn stuff. And if anyone wanted to do a donation there, they're more than welcome to. Because we had a lot of people ask that. Surprisingly, I thought that was very, very cool and really just humbling and kind. People are like, hey, I want to contribute to the buyback and burn. I'm like, but you just did by buying an NFT. Thank you so much. And they're like, no. I want to contribute more. And I'm like, are you sure? That is so kind. Wow.
One other thing to add on to that. Why would a project decide to donate more to LunaSky? Why would they want to do that? Imagine a project that wants to mint on LunaSky. Why would they opt to give us more?
That's a great question.
I know the answer, but I'm going to leave that to you guys. I got to make dinner.
Yeah. Thank you.
y'all think about that. I could guess, and but it's a great question to just put out there. Why would they, right?
Yeah.
I know I have my reason why I would.
I have my reason why I would as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What are those reasons?
I guess I'm incredibly grateful and loyal to the community. I want to see the project do well, and if I can contribute just a small amount to the greater good of the community and the holders, that's why I would do it.
That's very kind, and that's what's so humbling is like when people first started asking that, messaging us when the beta came out, I was just like, really? Like, you want to don't? I'm like, okay, that's super cool. We didn't have the ability there. One thing too, I'll touch on is I mentioned they have 2 different options to do this. One is like a one-time and one is ongoing. That is all part of like actually you setting up a collection, because we talked about how there'll be multiple contract calls. One is you got to deploy a mint contract. Another is a royalties contract, right? What's a mint contract? Well, that's the one-time mint. What's a royalties contract? Well, that's royalties that are ongoing when that thing sells again on the secondary market. Like Rocket mints my NFT, it's his. He puts it up for sale. Moon buys it. Well, there's a sale on the secondary market. So whatever royalty wallet that Rocket set up with that, or I'm sorry, that I set up with that, I get a percentage of it, right? So you can donate on the mint as a one-time thing. So a small percentage of that goes back, or you can donate on, the secondary market, aka royalty, or both if you want, or none. It's optional. You don't have to donate it.
Oh, okay. So you can set it up. You can set it up for like continuous donations, like even on the secondary market and for each sale. I see.
Yeah, 100%. So
would a project do that? I'll tell you, there's no benevolence involved.
Yeah.
Right? These projects are going to be looking after their own self-interest. There's a reason why they might want to contribute more.
There certainly is.
Outside of my personal reasons, is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Outside of that, yeah. Projects don't care about anyone else's holders. Just real-world talk, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they would donate more, and it is a business reason.
Interesting.
For their own self-benefit.
Right. So you mean it would be like to contribute to their bottom line because they're already making money on fees, so they're just going to get a little bit more?
Well, why would they contribute to us, though?
Yeah.
Why would they want to give LunaSky and just, by proxy EverGrow, why would they want to give us more?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want to do that?
Right. I don't have an answer for that.
He's killing me here, y'all.
Yeah.
He's killing me.
I'm trying to figure that out too. I mean, for their personal benefit.
Tell us.
Yeah, when you think about things like this, everyone's out for their own self-interest, especially projects that are trying to mint, right? They aren't going to donate an extra percentage just to be nice or just out of gratitude. There's a reason they would do that. I'm not saying anyone would. I'm not saying anyone's reached out to us offering to do that. But if they did, there's a reason they'd want to do
it. All right.
Damn it, Rocky, you're killing me.
Yeah. Person, you've been patient. Go ahead.
Thank you. Will LunaSky somewhere on the website let people know that the revenue will be used for buyback and burn? Because I don't think OpenSea does anything like that, right? And if they don't, and LunaSky does, that might, me as a new user, probably will motivate me to buy the coin, EverGrow in this case. Will that happen? Like, say that? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, dude, that's a great point. No, it doesn't say that right now on the platform, but I really like that. And that is something that I'm going to notate right now because I think that's a good point, definitely.
Can you repeat what he said? Because I couldn't really hear.
Yeah, can you translate it, please?
Yeah, I got you. Steve, he was asking, is there somewhere on the platform going to be verbiage that says using this, all revenue from this platform goes back to the buyback and burn of EverGrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like your website, right? So I was like, no, it doesn't say that on the platform anywhere, but it's a good idea. Not that it couldn't say that. So come down to Sam on that one, making the decision, but definitely good point, Gerson. Thank you.
Here's the thing is like people who want to list on LunaSky will benefit obviously from the sale of their NFTs. So that's great, and they're supporting this community, which is great. But if they're also holders in either EverGrow or Lucro, they also benefit from holding the token that they're supporting. So it's kind of it kind of help yourself by helping other people. So
yeah, exactly.
CWP.
I have two things. One is a question, and a guess about the benefit. Which seems to be pretty obvious and simple to me, but maybe I'm out in left field somewhere. If I donate to some of my proceeds, that ends up going to buy back and burn, which increases the value of my holdings, and that's my self-interest. Am I correct in that?
I don't think that's what he means, but I could be wrong.
Rocket's going to keep you in suspense.
That's not what he means, but that is a good point. So you're not wrong about that at all, right? Because, technically, the answer to what you're saying is, yeah, technically that makes sense. But no, that's not what he's referring to.
Interesting.
My question is for you, Cody. On LunaSky Beta, there were a lot of NFTs minted, but the majority of them were from fairly small collections in size. Taking in the possibility of people minting collections of 10,000 NFTs or larger, will the small user of small minter, the small artist, suffer from being buried in all the other noise?
No,
I wouldn't think so at all.
And that's the reason why the Creator Corps was started to begin with, because I will always support the small creators on LunaSky.
Yep, 100%.
Even though some of the mechanisms and the systems are designed to attract middle and larger projects, like I am a small creator. Like I will always support small creators.
Yeah, me too. I'll always be a small creator, and to Rocket's point, I mean, small creator to extremely large project, we can feature anybody we want. We have the controls, It's like if we want to feature a particular project in the featured section of the carousel on the homepage, which is what the default page loads to, or that's the default of what the page loads to. That's what you see first. We can. We say, you know what? This week, this one is going to be in the featured section, along with this one, this one, this one. So yeah.
Hey, Cody, did you guys get a chance, or did you guys talk about, that concept idea that we've talked multiple times on Spaces before, which was the idea of having the option to pay a fee for essentially, advertising your own collection on the website on some specific part of the website, and therefore making extra money for the EverGrow project for LunaSky. Has that been talked about?
No, it has not been talked about, but it's a good point. I'm glad you brought it back up because it's something that we can talk about. But obviously, everything that we've talked about right now is in preparation for getting this thing out, so that could be something cool for post-launch, that we could look into down the road. Definitely addition type things, that we're always looking to add on to. The list is growing. So
I think it would be cool, like a little feature, a little self-contained advertising feature only within LunaSky, right? Especially for smaller creators to have a chance to, be more visible and pay a small fee towards that, like a small investment in their collection,
It would be cool, but the reality too is like that technically already exists for free on the platform. That's kind of what I was referring to. Like when you go to the web page for the first time, it loads. Everyone has seen the carousel. The carousel section that loads as default is what's called featured. You've seen it. You've seen you've been testing it. So right there, we can put anybody we want in there. And we will do that. And that's not required, for extra payment. So I'm kind of like, we know it's a great idea, ad revenue, but at the same time, I don't know if it's something we would do because I don't know. It's just hard to say with something like that. I think it's a cool idea, but
here's a consideration too.
Yeah.
How much visibility did small creators actually have on the beta?
Yeah.
It was almost impossible to find anything or anyone in the beta. Just the search was very limited.
Yeah.
Visibility we magnified.
Going back to the CWP's point about that visibility and your chances of getting buried in the noise, which I don't even think is the problem with that is not even the amount of NFTs, because everything is sorted by collection. So the actual problem is the amount of collections. That's what the problem is, which on OpenSea became a very apparent problem once it became popular, because so many collections, so many millions of users, that it was just a sea of crap, for lack of a better word, for you to be trapped in.
Yeah.
Will you ever?
I'd like to make one more guess, if I may, not to monopolize the guessing, but could my donating funds to the company have anything to do with the stability of the company and and liquidity?
No.
Will you ever tell us?
Darn.
I can't now because Rocket made it. He presented it as if I'm not supposed to. So we'll let him tell you when he's ready. It's a fairly simple thing he's talking about if you think about it. He's referring to, like, why would a large project, right? Not an individual creator, but individual creator too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they want to just contribute to buyback and burn, which is extremely gracious. But why would a very large project want to do that, you know?
What, to be featured, to get into good graces? Because that's the only thing I could see.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is because but we would do it anyway. We would market their project for them in order to get, obviously the more people marketing their product on their behalf would be a benefit to them, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's so simple that I can't see it.
It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Well, we're all stupid.
No. He's killing me here. I'm gonna let it. Rocket, just freaking say something, man. Come on, you're killing me.
What's the fun in that? It's beautiful simplicity. It's just aligned incentives. That's all.
Yeah.
It's what, sorry?
Okay. Well, you are no longer getting a free NFT.
Hey.
Sorry, Rocket. What did you say? You kind of, for me, it kind of cut out. Or only get one shot at it. That's it.
What was that?
I said I didn't hear it. So can you say it again?
No, I didn't really say it.
Okay.
But it's more simple than you think.
He made it
about aligned incentives.
Yeah, he made a cryptic reference and
Gotcha.
used aligned incentives as his cryptic reference.
Yeah. I like to have fun.
Gotcha.
Good stuff.
I will assume when you're ready to say, you will. There you go. Perfect. How do you guys feel about talking a little bit? Oh, one thing I was going to ask Cody or Rocket. So, obviously we're here, waiting for LunaSky to come out. Do you think this, without trying to hype it or anything like that, do you think we're really ready to see what it's going to look like? I haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen like a screenshot. That's it. But do you think users are really going to be kind of ready for it to be released? When they first lay eyes on it, what do you think their impression is going to be?
I think okay, that's interesting. It's like, I think they're going to like it, of course, but it's so simplistic. I think they're going to be like, wait, this is like really simple. I think they're kind of expecting it to be like complicated, because of all this time. But you got to think about it like this: the easier it looks and the simpler it looks, the harder it probably was to put together, right? And that's the goal. I mean, for it to be so intuitive and so simple, when you first look at it, you're like, oh, this is it. I'm expecting like 100 pages to have to go through and all this stuff. I mean, there's only a couple of pages. Like, you don't need 10 pages on a marketplace, to swipe through in 10 subsections and all this stuff. You need things to be easily accessible, easily understood, and right there at your fingertips. So I think people are going to be surprised with how simplistic it really is, how easy and intuitive the layout is. Because it's evolved quite a bit since its first formations, right? From its very first design all the way up to now. I mean, it's evolved quite a bit based off necessity, based off trial and error, a number of things. So I think they'll be surprised.
I remember a story when Steve Jobs and they were developing iPhone, and he was pushing to make it smaller. Just make it smaller, right? Yeah, and technologically, that making it smaller gets to a point where it gets so difficult that the developers were just like, we just can't do it anymore. And I guess he took the phone and he threw it in water, and like an aquarium or something, or a cup of water, and you see all those bubbles. That's room, that's space. Make it smaller.
Yeah, right. Motivation.
Yeah. So.
That is such a dick move.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I got to repeat it. I think they're going to be surprised with how simple it looks and how simple and just easy It is. Like I said, it's really less is more, you know. The functionality aspect of it and the back end aspect of it is crucial. Yeah, gargantuan. It was crucial for us to make sure it was just everything and then some it needed to be. And the look is beautiful and very simple. You don't need a million bells and whistles on this thing as sparkly distractors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need it to look good. You want it to look good. Sharp. I think it's very sharp. It's very classy. Y'all have seen it yourself, Steve, Moon. So you know the concept, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it very, very recently. So you know what it's going to basically be when it comes out, because it's not going to change much from what you've seen, you know?
I think when I saw it, I just thought, immediately I thought elegant. Just
yeah. Less is more. Sharp, classy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a bunch of bells and whistles and danglies and sparklies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look good, and I think elegant is a great word for it.
CWP, go ahead.
If there's not a gigantic learning curve, Cody, is it a real project because it'll be unique on the web?
I'm sorry, is that a question?
That was sort of a question, maybe a little rhetorical, but
okay.
if it's really that simple, it will be the first, because everything that I have attempted on the internet since day one has been a huge learning curve.
We're going to be there for you. And again, you have to look at this from two sides, right? So simplistic in the layout, the way it looks. Simplistic in the way that it's used is 100% going to be, case by case, person by person, right? For example, like Moon is probably going to find it easier to use because he's used to these types of platforms versus you may be, because you may not be used to these types of platforms. Will the learning curve be vast? I don't believe the learning curve is going to be vast, even for folks who have A, never used a platform, or B, only the beta. We've tried again to make it as simple, intuitive, and user-friendly as possible, with everything from the tooltip type pop-ups that are available on certain pages and certain areas that will guide you, to your messaging portal support, which has preloaded documentation that we personally wrote for the simple things like, how to mint, how to create a collection, what's an offer, what's an auction, etc., to full-on person-to-person support. Like, you can message in there and ask for a person, and myself or one of the team will reply to you, just like we used to in the Twitter DMs, So, yeah, I don't think it'll be very vast, CWP, and we're going to be there for you, my friend. You know that. We'll get you through it.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
You got a big meeting tomorrow, and then from there, it's kind of the final kind of.
This is
it.
It's been crunch time for a long time, but this is the crunch time right now. So this is it. Very exciting. I almost can feel like I can take like a breath, like deep breath and with relief, but not until maybe a few months after it's out. Then I'll start breathing again.
I appreciate it. Very much. You guys worked so hard for this. Before we move on, Frank NFTs looks like he just came up to speak. Go ahead, Frank. Hope you're having a good day. Frank, you there?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
There you go. Sorry about
that. I was having a sip of coffee. So,
how are you, Frank?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. Did you have a question for Cody or Rocket?
Yeah. Just my question with Lucro being available on LunaSky. My concern is Lucro be only used amongst the people, the EGC users and so forth. For some reason, ETH is still the most popular currency to use for buying NFTs. So what are you guys going to do to try to get Lucro to be used more?
There are plans and ideas, and I can't really touch on those yet until they're more solidified.
Okay. I'll have to wait.
Yeah, one thing I could touch on, I guess, with that is, obviously Lucro Gaming is going to be a big part of that. So that, and along with LunaSky being an opportunity to use Lucro, to Rocket's point, there's some plans and ideas to, try to, not only incentivize people to use Lucro, but also bring Lucro in front of people that are not familiar with using it, right? If you're using Lucro on the platform, you're on BSC chain, right? So, but there are incentives to using Lucro on LunaSky, but at the same time, to your point, Frank, NFTs, sir. Yeah, we need to we need to do some things publicly to maybe get people to be more interested in using Lucro, buying Lucro, whether it be for the platform or for gaming or both. So, yeah, some plans out there for that. We'll see.
If people are, let's say, used to using... I'm sorry, Frank, go ahead.
I've got no more questions. That's answered mine. I was just putting myself back on mute.
Gotcha. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. So let's say, to kind of dovetail with what he was saying about, ETH users. So let's say somebody comes on, they log on, and they want to buy an NFT, but they're holding ETH in their wallet, right? They're not holding Lucro. And they say, well, I don't really want to use Lucro. I want to, I just want to buy with ETH. Cody, there?
I am. I'm sorry. Maybe I missed or lost part of what you said.
So let's just say somebody, somebody's listing on with an NFT with Lucro, right? And the Lucro is their preferred payment method. They're diehard EGC fans, but somebody, a buyer, potentially, let's say they got a wallet full of ETH, and they're like, well, why would I buy Lucro? Like, I don't want to use Lucro. I want to use ETH. Could they just use ETH, or do they got to swap it? And then
there's ways to get around that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just make an offer, right?
There's ways to get around. No, there's ways to get around that.
Okay. Rocket in his cryptic way. We'll just leave it at that. Zelda, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Steve. How you making out?
I'm doing good. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing your collection.
I'm looking forward to get it out.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a question for Rocket or Cody? Or?
I was going to ask Cody. I have a snapshot of what a profile page looks like on LunaSky, and if I could leak that.
Ooh.
So everybody can see.
You want to leak it?
Yes.
Good question. Shoot me a DM. Let me take a look at it.
Mm.
All right, sounds good to me.
Very cool. I'm very curious to see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, message me. We'll talk, Zelda.
All right.
This reminds me really quick, if I can, Steve.
Sure.
Big thanks to Zelda for manning the Facebook, the private EverGrow Facebook group, killing it over there. Thank you so much. Also, big thanks to the Shy, William Blake, for coming on board and helping Zelda and EverGrow Danny with Facebook. So yeah, Danny, Zelda, and the Shy William Blake. Thank you so much for spending all that time over in Facebook land for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. The next thing I was gonna. Do you have another question, Zelda, or or was that it?
No, that was it.
Awesome. So the next thing, we're gonna switch gears, just talk a little bit about Atlas Wallet, because if you guys weren't aware, they're working on a new build. I think this will be 17 or 18. I can't remember which one it is now. And so we're not to use it right now because the devs are working on it. So I actually put out a tweet earlier. I was playing with my weather app, and I was moving around the different cities on my app, kind of like you can do with Atlas Wallet, where you can move your crypto around, and just kind of, I miss my wallet. What can I say? But so the build, I believe it is 17 now, and I could be wrong though. So yeah, I guess it's a good thing that we're kind of like kind of going into LunaSky, and then we're working in a wallet in this quarter, because the two of them work so well together. The idea that you can have a wallet that works really well with LunaSky, that integration, because it's made by one company, so which is great. So I'm sure everybody here, I see most people that are here are familiar with Atlas Wallet, but we'll just cover it one more time. Some of the big features, obviously, is within the wallet you can do direct buy for, I think they're working on EverGrow and Lucro, and also swap within the wallet, so you don't need to go to PancakeSwap or anything. It's all done within the wallet, which is kind of an unusual experience, I must admit. I'm not used to that. Cross-chain swap, so let's just say potentially BTC to BNB, ETH to BNB, or ETH to Poly, or whatever. There's so many options that you can swap cross-chain. That's so the MasterCard partnership, so you can potentially load your crypto, like I'm guessing like a USD something, to the MasterCard, so you can use that as a basically like almost like a prepaid MasterCard. The Watch Wallet on a feature, which I thought was really cool because you can buy crypto and send it to somebody in one transaction. That's just something I'd never even considered doing. So if you wanted to give somebody EGC or Lucro, you can just do that and it'll go directly to their wallet. Obviously, the 50 wallets that you can watch if you want to watch some whales and keep an eye on what they're doing on different projects, or you can keep an eye on that every time every time they make a move, you will get a notification, and you can kind of maybe think you're going to be some big time trader and you can piggyback on their trades. Maybe it's always a good idea. And then obviously your NFT is going to have on there the Chrome extension for desktop. I'm curious to see what that's going to look like, and of course the Apple App Store and Google Play will be on there as well. So I think that is what I'm personally really looking forward to the most. Not that I have anything against the LunaSky NFT Marketplace. I think it's going to be amazing. But we'll see how things go. So Lucro Games, you were talking a little bit about that, Cody. I've been kind of working in my mind, how could Lucro Games really work? And I wonder if it's kind of like the old school arcade games you were talking about, where you kind of like need a quarter to play. Like, do you need Lucro to play these games, or can you even answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, you do need Lucro. That's the whole point. So you're using Lucro to play the game with a chance to win Lucro. There you go.
So the more people play, does it go into a pot and then potentially like a lottery?
Can I answer that? That's the way, right? Yeah. Kind of. I mean, it's in the game, right? So you use Lucro to play the games with an opportunity to win Lucro bet.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of Lucro gaming. So the house does not win. It's nothing like that. So we don't win anything from that. It's player to player. So
interesting.
Yeah, so some of it may be a pot, right? Between by a certain number of players, etc. Yeah.
Interesting. I could definitely see some competitive, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, what I think is fun, I like thinking about down the road with this, because like we've talked about, at first the two games, very simple, nothing mind expanding, just two very simple, fun, kind of addicting, easy to function games, right? But I'm thinking like way down the road, like if this does well, I would love to see more and more complicated and fun games of different genres. I think that could be really cool, But right off the bat, obviously that's not the focus. We're not trying to stack on another large development project here. We just want to get something to help Lucro move in the market out there, and something fun that people can enjoy doing. The games that the two games that are going to happen first are, again, so simple that everyone's probably played one, if not both, of these types of games in their life in some form or another. They're pretty mindless. Like, you can just kick back. You don't have to, we're not talking about playing Risk here and strategizing, your campaign or anything. So, yeah. But wouldn't it be cool, though, later on down the road, if there was something like that? That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, because like I said, I was racking my brain. I was like, how does this work? Because, I mean, if you had a game, right, that, everybody's played before, like, well, why would I pay for this game if I can go play it for free somewhere? So I was thinking there had to be something to incentivize playing. Obviously, if you support the project, you want to play and support the project. But if there's that kind of potentially a pot in there that you could play towards and potentially win, that would be pretty amazing.
That's exactly what it is. That's the incentive. You play with your Lucro to add a chance to win more Lucro.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. So the house doesn't win. The house doesn't take anything.
That's very, very cool. Love it. Awesome. Anybody have any questions towards that? I think it's a great idea. I can just imagine a suite of games, like not just two. I can imagine, many, many more, and people can just kind of, play one game and then I can jump over to this one. And if it's like a PvP where you can play against other people, that's kind of cool too. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah, that's what excites me, is thinking about down the road, if this does well enough, then, and we have the ability to put more into it later, that could get really interesting,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The other thing I was going to talk a little bit about was the EverGrow community store. If you guys saw, I put out a poll last week about the profits to use from the EverGrow community store. And I was actually really, really surprised. I'm curious to know what you guys think of how it kind of turned out. So I expected people would want to have an EGC giveaway, and it was quite the opposite. The majority, around 80%, wanted buyback and burn of EGC. And so I think this is kind of really telling of those who voted, because, I think it was around almost 300, 280 or something like that. So 280 people voted, and the majority wanted a buyback and burn of EverGrow. So, I think it's part of it is because buyback and burn is kind of really built into the identity of EGC. So, and I think buyback and burn is probably one of the most consequential ways to raise the price of EGC. And, obviously the reflections and all that plays into it as well. But what did you guys think of that? Did you expect it to be as much as it was in terms for buyback and burn, or did you think people were going to go for the giveaway portion of it?
I personally expected it to be to the buyback and burn to be favored. So
what made you think, why do you feel that way about it?
Well, because, that's what you see people talking about a lot. I mean, that's where, obviously all the a percentage of the taxes that exist and have existed go to, So naturally, I would think people would want to see more buyback and burn, decrease the overall supply, increase the price, rewards, etc.,
Right. Yeah. What did you think, Rocket? Did you think people would be more interested in buyback and burn, or more interested in getting free EGC as a giveaway?
I mean, I assume it'd be buyback and burn, just because if it's a giveaway, then, one lucky person or two lucky people can win. If it's buyback and burn, then everyone wins.
That's true. How about you, CWP?
I found that interesting, but not surprising. And I think there's a bias in the audience that answered your question. And that bias being people that know EverGrow and understand EverGrow and understand the importance of buyback and burn. And maybe the general crypto public out there would have answered differently, not fully understanding the magnificence of EverGrow and its reward system. Just an idea.
Interesting. Libya, so you came up. Did you have a comment on that?
I think everything I was going to say has just been said. 100% backing buyback and burn. It's the foundation of this project.
Yeah, it like I said, I think it's so much part of kind of where we've been, at the beginning to where we are now. We all look forward to seeing, a 200 billion burn or something like that. And, when we had that really, really big trillions of burns, I think people, it just kind of really galvanizes people around EGC because they see just the potential of it, right? And I was kind of thinking about this too today, that, being able to burn your own tokens by using profits to buy EGC and then send them to the burn wallet, that can have a massive impact on investor confidence, right? Because any project can burn their own tokens if they hold them. You start a project, you have 1 quadrillion, you could say tomorrow, I'm going to burn 500 trillion of those, right? And, but that's not anything really it's important, it's symbolic. But if you're using your profits from your business to buy your token and then you're burning them, that is it's kind of like you're proving to the investors that we are making money, we're using that money to buy our own tokens, and we're doing the holders right by burning them, doing what we said we were going to do. So I think that is, I think that can have enormous impact on confidence for investors. So, I just cannot, I know when we have these big burns and all that stuff, we get really excited, and, we see the supply come down, and a lot of people, I go to Sigmund Dave's website and I say, okay, it's this many years to this. But and again, less supply means more reflections, right? For those who are holding. So, and that can obviously affect the value of EGC. People often ask, how high could EGC go, right? It's such an interesting question that people have, right? So they think, could it go to a penny, right? And so realistically, that would be, let's just say, based on our 460 trillion circulating supply, a penny would be $4.6 trillion, right? How realistic is that? It's not very realistic, right? at all-time high, I believe Bitcoin was right around $1 trillion market cap. So if EGC had, let's say, 1 trillion tokens, we burn the rest, right? A penny would be 10 billion market cap, which would put EGC in the top 10 of the market cap as of today. So burning your tokens absolutely can have a massive impact on your price. But if you do it by using your profits to buy back and burn, now you're demonstrating a business plan. Now you're demonstrating this is what we told you we were going to do, right, on our site. Now we're proving what we're going to do. And so curious to know what you guys think about that. If anybody wants to jump in.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I mean, buyback. I love the giveaways. I think it's fantastic. You know, the giveaways. We can do giveaways when we can, and the people in the community take the initiative to do them. Like Denny is always doing them. It's amazing. Yeah. But I mean, again, buyback and burn. I mean, that benefits the whole. You know,
it benefits everybody, exactly. So the amount that I purchased for EGC using the profits was just under 12 trillion. 12 billion. Sorry, 12 trillion. I wish. 12 billion. So when LunaSky launches, that will get sent to the burn wallet, and we'll just keep on. So if you want to support the project by purchasing from the EverGrow community store, by all means. This is 100% profits go to buyback and burner giveaways, whatever you guys choose. Kind of like we did that vote. So and I run it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. So let's open it up. Open discussion. You guys can talk about whatever you guys want. Yeah, so go ahead. Anybody want to talk about what we talked about before? Questions for Cody or Rocket or anybody about the project or anything else? By all means, CWP, do you have anything you want to talk about? Did I lose you, CWP? There you
are. Not importantly, I'd like to give the venue to others to bring up their questions. Okay. I only have a couple of other interesting news items to share that I could share quickly, but let me leave those for now, and because it's not important if they don't get shared, but people's what they need to know and what they want to ask is important. Also,
I'll read a couple comments here that people said. Purple Art EverGrow, I can't wait to upload Simbox collection. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that collection too. Let's see who else has anything. Mighty Mike, I think once we are up and live, we need to reach out for LunaSky features with websites, etc. when they say in the blog post the top 5 NFT sites. I thought also around the official press release to be shared amongst news sites like the LunaSky Rebirth at EverGrow Sam. Any connects. So it's kind of like a marketing, like that we once we start marketing, I think. Did you guys want to speak maybe to, without going into too much detail, what the work is of going into marketing, like the creativity behind it? I don't know of your plans, so it's all news to me.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm hesitant to speak too much about it because it seems like every time we do, you know what comes next from that. I think Sam would be best to discuss this publicly further. I mean, as you all know, though, I mean, the plan has been to ramp up the marketing once these things are out. You know, we did some preliminary marketing, not too long ago. That was a good test, too, for us to see how we might want to continue forward with marketing and or change some aspects to how we market Luna or Atlas, etc. So we've got a couple different things that we want to do. Obviously, I can't say what, but some of the other aspects are still up for debate. And I think there's some new ideas, too, that Sam may have. So we'll let him share those.
Day one of LunaSky launch, do you think any of us would see them marketing in place, or do you think it's going to be kind of, it'll be kind of catch us by surprise?
Yeah, I think it'll catch you by surprise. It's going to obviously be a little more organic, but at the same time, there's going to be some aspects to it that will be seen. But look, everybody, we're not talking about the traditional marketing here, banners and billboards, right? That's just not what's beneficial for us. So I want to set that expectation now. We have talked about this. I think a lot of people hear marketing and they think, oh, I need to see flashies and things everywhere all the time popping up. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to see depending on what you're marketing, right? So, and other times there's other ways going about this. Like brand awareness is a big thing, I think, when it comes to the marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that.
Interesting. Let's see what else I was going to say about marketing. We can't really go into too much detail just because we know what happens, right? So, I'm trying to think of what else.
I will throw out that to add to the suspense, that I have some marketing ideas that I'm going to do completely on my own. I don't know that I will have this completed by the time that LunaSky is out, but I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do because it's going to be a fun ride.
That's awesome. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So, I'm trying to think where I was going to go with this. How about guerrilla marketing? You know, is there going to be a lot of focus on the marketing from the community side, typically like we do now, or?
Yes, absolutely, and that's a big aspect of it, right? That's organic, and that's going to be a big part of it.
Excellent. All right, thank you for answering that. Anybody else have any other questions for Cody or Rocket or about the project at all, or you're just happy to hear to listen in? By all means, I'm glad to have you here. How about you guys? Is there anything you guys want to talk about?
I'll say something really quick, just about one little thing. It's the smallest little thing, and I really like it because coming from the beta, it never worked. Mm-hmm. I just really love on the new platform being able to search. Like I type one letter in any search box, and it starts, searching stuff, and I love that because on the beta, it's frustrating, like trying to find somebody's profile. I couldn't search their name. The simplest thing. Of course, this is one of those things. This is not unique. This is something that should have always been there, but it wasn't on the beta. So I just love those little things that, we're experiencing now and that you all will too. And that's one of the little things that I'm grateful for and I love because it's like, okay, I'm searching the platform now. I type in a short phrase or word and boom, there it is, what I'm looking for.
My workaround with beta was I would go through their collection on Instagram. And then I would name the collection, let's say if it was a Michael Garber's, right? And I would search that, and then I would click on his name, and then I would be able to find everything he made. And
yeah.
It was kind of a real long workaround. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, no more having to do that. Let me pull it up. I'm logged into it right now. Here's an example, right? It's like. You've all seen some screenshots. Some of these things have changed over time. Obviously, there's been some UI changes and things like that from what you all have seen. But I like just being able to go there and select on the Explore page. What do I want to look at? I just want to look at collections, or I only want to look at creators, right? Like right now, I'm on creators, and all I see are the creators on the platform right now, which is awesome. Or I only want to look at NFTs in auctions. Okay, cool. I'm only looking at NFTs in auctions. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I love that. Or hey, I want to look at a number of categories together. I want to look at NFTs that are in auctions, listed for buying now, maybe trending or top sale. Yeah, let me just select all of it. I want to look at NFTs in all these categories. Cool. Let's see. Maybe I want to do. What else can I tell you here? I'm looking at. Yeah, I just like the simplicity. The simplicity of it all. It's like, well, cool. Now I can actually just search for somebody's name or like part of an NFT I saw. I remember the word, or I can just start typing in letters and see what pops up for me to look at. I can choose what chain or chains at the exact same time I want to search collections on. Okay, I'm in the mood to look at collections on ETH, BNB, and Poly all at the same time. Cool, I'll just select them all and look at them.
Hey, Steve, I have a question for Cody, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody, I'm Rocket.
Hey, Rocket, how are you?
Search for NFTs by smell.
Say that one more time for me.
Search for NFTs by smell. Is that a filter?
Well, I might be able to add that in for you. It's not currently, but I think maybe we could do that.
Hey, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, take care.
Are the stinkier NFTs more valuable?
Let's go ahead and start a new bull run for NFTs. The answer is yes. Stinky NFTs are all the rage. They're extremely valuable.
What about searching for seal NFTs? Will that be an option?
Well, type in the word seal, and if there's any in there, they'll come up.
I made an assumption from what you just said earlier, and I want to know if I'm correct. If I search for, just want to see creators, that creators will be ones that have current items for sale, correct? As opposed to the beta where you got everybody and his uncle in there, whether they'd ever minted anything or not.
Well, you can look for collections if you want to do that, right? So you can see if you're searching by collections instead of creators. Because if you're searching creators, you'll find every creator.
You're searching wallet addresses that have a profile, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's right. You'd want to search collections in your case for that CWP, or just go down and actually choose buy now and select NFTs if you wanted to isolate that down further. You also have like a filter list, like a sort basically list, depending on what you're looking at. Like, for example, if I'm on the NFT page, hold on a second, and I want to check out my sort list on the NFT page. My sort list is like price low to high, price high to low, ending soon. Okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe I go to the collections, though, and I look at the sort list. Recently viewed, most viewed. So yeah, there's a number of things and ways you can isolate your searches down. I like just playing, and it's so nice now to just type in the search bar. Something that so simple is just such a relief to have. It's like if I want to search Rocket, I just type his name in there.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was the beta that I was always curious about. What was like statistically, which ones were selling the most, which ones were the most popular, which ones most volume, maybe highest priced, things like that. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, and tailor the marketing on Instagram to that, you know what I mean, and see if you can drive even more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you will be able to especially like views. You'll see view counts.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Catch what's trending based on view counts too.
Exactly.
You guys have just made me about 1 million times more anxious to see this come out.
Well, I was
1 million?
Go ahead.
Only 1 million times more anxious?
Yeah, just 1 million, huh?
I was trying to be conservative.
Well, I was I never got a chance to do it just yet, but what I wanted to do while you guys were talking was I tried to give thanks to at least 3 people in the space each week. I think it's a really, really good idea, and I wanted to go props to iSavior for doing his EverGrow Twitter Space Nigeria, and congratulations on that. I've seen you done a couple. Most of them are like 1 in the morning my time, so I'm sorry that I couldn't be there at that time. But if you want to go and share, if you want to come up and speak and to kind of share how that experience is going for you, I put out a tweet a little while ago saying, when EverGrow Twitter Space Europe or maybe Australia, all over the world. So, iSavior, I don't know if you wanted to come up and talk about how those are going for you, but I just wanted to say thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you have starting to build a good following in your area, and more people get interested. And my second one is, this is an interesting kind of deal here. I had no idea that Hawkish was such a good fisherman, and he has been really kind of coaching me in fishing, and I know it's something that I really kind of didn't really do a lot of, so I just want to say, just to relax a little bit, change, you'll change of pace. Thank you, Hawkish, for helping me with your fishing advice. I really appreciate it. So thank you, those 2. I just wanted to just say thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Cody or Rocket, or just in general, if there's something you wanted to bring up, by all means, this platform is for you guys. Otherwise, we can just Michael Garber. I know it's late for you. Libby, go ahead.
I had a question. I'm not sure if it's all possible for Atlas Wallet, but if tax-free transfers between 2 wallets, you can provide passphrases for.
That's interesting.
What's that?
Mainly for security reasons. Obviously, if you want to move your holdings, the majority of your holdings, into a view-only wallet or something like that, have it offline.
So the issue is it's at a contract level, because for EverGrow specifically, we haven't had any need to upgrade the contract. So you can't specify like a particular condition to get tax exempt. So you wouldn't be able to make transfers tax exempt unless there was a whole new contract.
Yeah, I thought it would be something pretty major. Thank you.
No worries.
Great question. I haven't even thought about that. Yeah. So, any other questions? I'm just going to check the comments real quick while we're here.
How about a couple of news items?
Go for it, CWP. Thank you.
Okay, I found a website that I did not know existed. Surprising. I'm sure there's many that I don't know about. Called Fagan Wasani Technologies, if I'm pronouncing that right. But they had two excellent articles that I've found intriguing from our standpoint, too, of what our future is going to bring. And one is Bridging the Digital Divide and how global blockchain is transferring access to technology. We've already discussed this. A little blurb from that article is one of the key ways blockchain is helping to bridge the digital divide is through its potential to provide secure and affordable access to financial services. And we've already seen that in the very much so in the unbanked community. The other thing I found interesting was from factory floor to consumer, how blockchain is transforming the manufacturing industry. One of the most significant ways blockchain is transforming manufacturing is through improved traceability. In industries such as food production or pharmaceuticals, where safety and quality are paramount, the ability to track and trace products throughout the supply chain is critical. Blockchain technology can provide a secure, tamper-proof record.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
And the other thing, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I never even considered that was an option for using blockchain. I've heard medical records for blockchain, and that was kind of a fascinating topic. Go ahead.
I mean, just everything that we do today on paper can be transferred into the blockchain. So the implications of that are just tremendous for global society, and we're going to see these come about very, very rapidly, much faster than we imagine at this point. The other one that I was interested in getting people's opinion on, I was on a space a couple of days ago that was talking about digital identities and the need for digital identities, especially when involved in a financial transaction. And AI has gotten so good that although I don't have the capacity to do this, just based upon the learning curve, but I can take some pictures of an individual, a voice sample, and create a video that if you, Steve, you would not be able to recognize that it was not you. And when we're faced with this reality of what is real and what isn't, and who is real, who's a bot, who's an AI avatar, some digital identity is almost imperative, and it's really scary in totality looking at it because of ID theft and things like that. But WorldCoin, which is OpenAI's sister company, wants you to buy their coin, and this possibly unleashes a tempest of problems across the world in the process. But this will be a digital identity, and is already being done, which scans your retina. And there may be other biographic data that is put onto the blockchain to identify you as a real human being. Last time I checked, over 2 million people have had this done. And they are going to, as an incentive, they're giving you WorldCoin coin And also there's going to be eventually a drop, an airdrop of coins. I see this as imperative, but there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of argument going on, and if not this, then what? How are we going to prove personhood?
It's really interesting because NFTs are really good at establishing proof of ownership, right? So where I see this being really, really valuable is, let's say, a car title. So there's so much title washing that goes on in parts of the U.S. alone, where cars are in accidents and then they repair them, but it never shows up on their title. In terms of like a Carfax or something like that, right? So people are buying, seriously compromised vehicles, and the titles are not even real. So NFTs can be extremely valuable in that particular case because, if you can prove that you own this vehicle to this serial number, it's yours, right? And then when you sell that vehicle, the NFT goes with it, or even the house, right? People are scamming people out of their titles of their homes. So this is where another use case, right? But the ultimate ownership, you're right, is yourself. How do you prove your identity? When you go and travel anywhere, you need a passport. You need to prove all of these things, right? Who you are as a person before you can actually do these things. NFTs could really potentially open up that avenue for establishing your identity.
Exactly, and if and the blockchain apparently is quite secure. I'm not aware of a blockchain ever having been hacked. Maybe that's happened and I just am unaware of it. But if we're going to put our medical data on blockchains to have a continuous source of information of our whole medical history, how is it any different to add retinas or even DNA to that blockchain?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. Cody, your rocket, do you have anything you want to add to that? Or? Oh, we can't hear you, Cody. You're really cool. Can't hear you at all. Nothing. Can't hear you at all. You just see the mic going off.
Cody.
You still there, Cody? He's in the zone. Can't hear anything. Sorry, man. How about you, Rocket? Do you have any kind of... Where do you foresee this going? Maybe you can't talk. Maybe the kids are...
Yeah, Rocket's playing with his kid, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody, we still can't hear you. Sorry, man. Well, we're waiting for Cody to get on. Have you guys been paying attention to the chart on Lucro? So we're only dealing with about 18,000 roughly in volume, 24-hour trading volume, up 7.6%. In the last 30 days, up 154%. Just on 18 grand, we're dealing up 7%. Let me look up EverGrow real quick. But the chart is looking absolutely beautiful. EverGrow is up 0.7% on 24 hours with only 7,000 volume. And over the last 30 days, up 21.3%. Make sure you go and vote on CoinGecko too. You give them an upvote, and just for awareness. I know we have a kind of a, that was going around here, a list of clicks, places you can go in and vote on EGC and all that stuff in Lucro. I encourage you guys to do that.
Lucro's up 8.7% in 24 hours.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go look on, I was looking at CoinGecko. I'm going to go look on KuCoin real quick and see what they're doing. Yeah, it's at 40545. What do you think, CWP? Do you think we can drop a zero by the end of the year? Just speculative, highly speculative. Not going to hold you to it.
That's a very good question. Yes, I think possibly.
Uh-huh.
At 40, at almost 5 now, 49.
Yeah. Over halfway there?
Yeah, we're exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And there really has, there's been some volume, you know what I mean? 200-300 grand or so, but this is not like huge volume or anything like that. So, again, you get brand awareness, we start, utilities and all that stuff. And I just love Lucro, man. I just love seeing that trade so much, you can get so much price movement with very little volume. And I know it's part of it is liquidity and all that stuff, but what's the liquidity sitting at right now? For right around 518,000 in liquidity, which is really healthy. Market cap 5.4 million, which is peanuts. And holders, let me see what holders are looking like. 3,410 holders. That's just like insane. I mean, it's so early for Lucro. I mean, yeah, most of the people that are in Lucro right now were, obviously we're probably from EGC. So when you start getting people outside the project that start investing, that's when you're going to really see some price movement, I think.
And Lucro at 54 right now plus is more than halfway to dropping a zero.
Yeah, exactly. Excellent. Yeah, it's really really nice to see. And I think, Bitcoin halvings is when? Is it the August, October? Do you know what it is, CWP?
I've read it, but that's not something I've retained in my memory. I can Google it.
Maybe it's 2024. April 26, 2024 is when halving. So usually when I've seen halving happen, we see some pretty significant price action on Bitcoin. And again, that old adage there, the rising tide lifts all boats, right? It may not happen immediately, but yeah. So I don't know. I think a lot of people are really, really bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm even more bullish on EGC. That's just me. So yeah, if you guys have any final questions or anything like that, I don't know, Cody, if you were able to get your mic working, but if not, that's okay. We can close this all out. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, there he is. He's trying to get one more time. Yeah, I can't hear you, man. Sorry. You want me to hang on for you to come out and come back in, or give me a thumbs up if you want me to just hang for a bit and you can log out and log back in. He's trying.
I want Cody back.
Yeah, come back, Cody, if you can, if you don't mind. Let's see what he's doing here. Can't hear you at all, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like you got the gremlins got you. There we go. He's going to try one more time. I'm going to add you as a speaker. We'll just take a minute to connect. Oh, disappeared. The gremlins really got him. I'll give a quick shout out while he's coming back in there. So we got Gracians in here. Good to see you, man. Father Mulcahy, good to see you. Hope everything is going well with your project, Stake D. Let's see who else we got here. Lotus and Judgmental Duck, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little while. We can see, I think Cody's just dropped back in right now. I'm going to invite him back in. Hopefully that worked. There he is. Cody, how you doing?
I am back.
There you are. There you are.
I am back. Earlier, CWP's comment about biometric data being stored on the blockchain to prove that you actually exist as a humanoid. That, my reply, was rather short. I will repeat it. It's 2 words. Maybe it's 1 word. I'm not sure. And the only thing that pops in my head is Blade Runner.
Oh, yes.
We got to prove them replicants. We got to find them replicants out there, y'all. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about CWP when you started talking about that. I was like, oh, replicants. Oh my gosh, am I a replicant? Wait. Rocket is definitely a replicant.
And we need to separate ourselves from the aliens that are hiding out in the sky.
Apparently, we're going to have to just get on the blockchain so we can prove our existence as Homo sapiens.
Do you remember the cheesy movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Running Man?
I love that movie.
Yeah,
absolutely, because I own it. Yes.
Yeah. So you remember when they made the footage of the alternate scene where he was flying the helicopter and it made it look like he was basically shooting up civilians and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you really think about it, it's not much different, right? You can copy somebody's voice, you can edit video and all that stuff, and you can make the truth, right? Where do you see?
This is exactly what the battle right now among the Writers Association and is about, because for those who don't know, because the studios want to use replicates of everybody in acting, and so no real human being will be in movies any longer. And the same goes for the writers, because of the creativity of even ChatGTP, not to mention the rest of them. And the fact that most of our headlines and much of our news stories that we see are already written by AI. The future is kind of scary in knowing who is who and what's real. And that does need to change. So,
do you foresee legislation changing in order to restrict the use of AI in these kind of mediums?
I can see it, but it's unenforceable. I mean, what are you going to do? We're going to shoot aliens down out of the sky? What can you do about bots? I mean, bots can't even be fixed by Elon on Twitter. Well, excuse me, X. And it's not just blaming Twitter. Same thing. They're all over Facebook. By the way, anybody out there collect coins? Facebook is rampant, and not just Facebook. I've seen Twitter ads and everybody other ads for 1 ounce silver rounds for an amazing price of only $9.99.
Oh, don't click on that. Yeah.
Yes, I actually bought one on purpose just to see what it was, and it's 100% counterfeit.
Wow.
A lot of times what they do is they're silver clad.
Millions of these out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was a proof, by the way, which is a $75 coin for only $9.99.
Yeah.
I collect some CWP, so I'm with you on that. Like I buy mine from a very specific place, only online, and I will never buy them anywhere else.
I like Silver Eagles personally, and I like those are kind of my proof, and the proofs, I mean, they're nice, but I usually get them from one specific place as well. I used to order them directly from the mint, but I like them graded, so that I can get a proof 70 coin or something, and just because I like the collectible, I like that it's in a nice protected case and all that stuff, and well, look who the cat dragged in. Paul.
Well,
how you doing?
Space is over. See y'all.
I forgot. Like I was actually in another space like an hour and a half ago. Like look. Here's what I need.
Wait. Weren't you supposed to be with Sam working on something right now? Wait a second. Hold the phone.
I can't say it right now. I'll tell you off camera.
Call you later.
Off mic.
Paul has been inhabiting a whole bunch of spaces lately, I've noticed. I think it's some kind of an addiction.
He's addicted, y'all, to spaces.
I mean, you obviously been hearing what's going on and stuff like that. Like, kind of got involved. And here's the thing: is like, with the EverGrow community, I try to be fun, but I try to be also business-like, and this, that, the other thing. But I come from a past of very confrontational and very opinionated, and this, that, the other thing. And when that doesn't get reciprocated, I kind of, go back and lose it. And these people are just so,
It sounds like you fell into what I fell into one time. Remember that story about I ended up in this Bitcoin maxi space one time?
Yeah.
It was like the worst experience of my life, y'all.
Yeah, it really was. I'm like,
they ate me up.
Face.
Yeah, they ate me up so bad for just breathing in there. It was hilarious.
Well, they tried to eat me up because I was making sense. And then when I started to make sense, they'd mute me. And then, start talking shit. And then allow me back on. There was this like, it's ridiculous. And then I got defending other people. And then next thing you know, I just lost it because they're actually talking shit to a guy who has worked with Mr. Beast before, has worked with like the biggest people on things. And he was just giving his opinion, right, wrong, indifferent. He's earned a right to give an opinion. And these straight degens that were hosting the space, we had 500 people who they could easily influence. weren't allowing him just to give his opinion on what it could be right, wrong, or whatever. And I just lost it and was like, I mean, say it, you would never invite people up on a stage if that was in person and talk to them like that.
That's why I like Steve Spaces. Don't we like Steve Spaces, y'all? This is just where it's at.
Yeah.
This is where we all come to chat.
It's good to have a conversation when someone else talks. You talk, I talk. Maybe have a disagreement. I mean, we don't have much in here, but you can. And you just talk it out, let the person talk, and sometimes you agree, disagree. Sometimes there's some fighting, but, throwing around the N-word, even if you are, black or whatever, but throwing around the N-word and throwing around these, acting tough, acting like some tough guy and everything, like, get out of here with your keyboard warrior stuff. Like, tough guy.
The vent is on, y'all.
Paul, were you on a space a few days ago about WorldCoin and the development of a digital ID to prove personhood?
No, I was not.
That was his replicant.
Might have been.
Oh my God!
No.
Another Paul impersonator out there. The world is rife with Paul impersonators. What makes you so special, Paul?
Wow.
And the real Paul has a different PFP, just so you know.
Yeah, I just I just changed back to my.
Oh, you did?
Picture. Yeah, I just changed back today, my regular picture. But I'll put it back on. I was just going into a space, and I wanted to show people that I was actually doxxed and had never seen me before. So I was like, I've been doxxed for 2 years. I just had this one picture up for the last 2 weeks just to have it up. Like, I was like, I'm doxxed. You guys aren't. What's up?
The question is, are you still an NFT guy? Because there was a time where you weren't an NFT guy, and then you became an NFT guy. So you were required at that point to tell everyone you were an NFT guy. Are you still an NFT guy? That's what I want to know.
Yes, but some of these NFT spaces I see where everyone in the audience has an NFT or some kind of picture. I mean, it looks, I know there are, would-be customers, but, a lot of them aren't. And I'm not talking about people in here. I look around and there's not too many. There's pictures of faces. There's pictures of, different stuff. I think Judgmental has a monkey picture stuff, but I'm talking when the entire space, and I'm not judging him for having that. I'm talking when an entire space is filled with, straight up, NFT pictures, and it was just really bad.
It's coming.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're all bad. The ones I've been in were bad. I'm not saying they're all bad at all. Please don't say that. I'm talking about the one I was in, or the couple I was in. But all the ones I was in David Goldstein. I don't say his last name. I was in his about an hour or two ago, and he runs a great space.
Did you tell him Rocket said hi yet?
I did. Yeah, he said, that's my man. Blah, blah, blah. And so yeah, real nice guy. We're supposed to maybe do a UFC space tonight, but we never really talked about it too much. We're let's maybe do that, but then the whole Paulie thing happened, and now there's so yeah, that's going on. So now I'll just watch the UFC stuff by myself.
Say that guy's name one more time, Paul.
Paulie. But that kind of sucks. Is it's Paul, but people actually have called me Paulie. Many times. Half people call me by that name. Half people call me Paul. In my personal life, depending on who you are. Especially I'm named after my dad. So and then around my house, my dad called me Ray, or my aunt called me Ray. Ray.
Hold up. Why? I'm sorry. I got to interrupt you here. Why am I just now hearing about that you were called Ray at one time in your life?
Well, here's what. It's really weird. So, I was named after my dad, Paul Raymond Truffinger Jr. So we had the same exact name, except for junior and senior. So my dad was like, well, I call you Ray because I want you to have your own identity. And then I was old enough to realize this, and I go, well, then why did you name me after you if you wanted me to have my own identity? Well, why didn't you just give me the name, Ray or whatever? Ray. I don't mind being named after him. He's passed away, so I'm quite proud of it. I think the creepiest thing is we have a not an urn, but like a box, because we had him cremated, and like senior name on there, like without the junior, it's a senior on there. It's kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I know my dad would laugh at that, so I can bring it up. But it was kind of weird. But however, I've always looked at us as two individuals, because when I do see that senior junior, it's totally different to me. But other people, even when they look us up, if they see like he got sued, they think I got sued, or he had problems back in the day, I had problems, because they don't put in our, when they look us up, they see the same name. So
yeah.
But
that's cool, man. Never knew that. Wow, you learned something.
Yeah, I mean, it was just family stuff.
I like it.
It was just family stuff that did it, but people, no one knew it outside of the family. But it was just growing up, they'd be like Ray, especially my mom. So they could, or no, she'd be like Paul-A, like, because my dad Paul. So
well, now when you get in trouble at work, we know to just start calling you Ray. So.
Ray. Well, no, that's really like no, when you get in trouble at work or anywhere, they like Paul Raymond Treffinger Jr.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, they start using your full name. Like I use like when I start getting on Sam, I'm like Samuel Kelly, and I know his real name, his middle name's been out there, but
red button, fingers on the red button. I'm just kidding, man.
I forget what it is.
Hey, what's his mother's maiden name, real quick?
It's a trick question. Don't answer. Trying to protect you.
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't know anyway.
Don't trick Paul and ask him any questions that he can answer.
I think he said Republican before, but I don't know what it is. I don't care that much to say. I'll probably ask him, but I do say Samuel Kelly all the time.
I think we should take bets. We should make a poll and take bets on what is Sam's middle name.
I know he's told me. And
the winner.
Say it,
what is the winner going to get? The winner is going to get
$1 billion.
$1 billion from Paul Raymond Treffinger.
So what's been the talk of the town lately?
We spent a lot of time on LunaSky today. Really just kind of talking about the features that I had no idea about. Really just kind of, yeah.
Are they finally expressing some of the features and stuff? Are they finally telling you guys?
Yeah, we went through a couple things specifically on the platform. We've talked about some features before, reiterated about other features today, etc.
Kind of the whole process of, or is it process of start to finish, kind of like how this, the system will walk you through it, and it will be somewhat unfamiliar at first, but once you do it once, it'll be super easy.
Yeah, the difference between like this platform and the beta in regard to you actually own your contracts over here, some of the differences in the process, what Steve's referring to, we went through about how the process from mint to uploading your NFT goes. There's multiple contract calls, what those means and why, etc. Yeah, so
I tell you guys,
cool stuff.
This I said to her, when you're working, creating something new like this with devs. I mean, I know. Look. I've said this before, we've all been on a ride, even in November, December, we thought it was only going to be a month or two out. And, here we are, but I think, now that I look back, I hope you can appreciate anything that's, going to be good takes time to develop. I wish it was out a lot sooner. I think we all do. But I can tell you, like, no one wants it out more. I can tell you, even if you guys want it out more, Cody, Rocket, and us want it out more than you guys. I can tell you that. I can speak for them when I say that. They want it out. We're working. Working with everything good and everything like that. With the hours that they put in and that they're doing. So,
yeah, we were kind of talking about that earlier, just about like how much you have to be involved. There was a good question, Paul, about like, well, I think CWP was saying, hey, I think you guys, 12, 16, 18-hour days with this stuff? And I was like, yeah, and you can't really put a number on it. And Rocket made the point about how it's just you're always live on the clock with it. You're never not on the clock with this job, and that's how it is. Full time, all the time. You're on call, you're on the clock. There is no you have your downtime moments here and there, but it's every single day,
non-LunaSky themed dreams at this point.
I think most people, and I thought this too, that you go to a company, developers, whatever, and you say, okay, here's the contract money, here's what we want, here's the design. And then next thing you know, months later, they come back and go, here you go. And then you look through it and go, okay, we want X, Y, and Z changes, maybe 100 of them, 50 of them, maybe there's 2 of them. And then you give it back to them, and then they come back, and then you're ready to go. Boom. That was my understanding of, before everything started. Like, okay, that's the farthest from the truth of what it actually is. Devs do not work that way at all. It is a step-by-step process, and it is very tedious, especially the more, intricate it gets. Like, if we were to build, let me go on the wallet side. If we were just building a regular wallet with no revenue, with just a couple chains on it and stuff and did nothing but very simple wallet, you just hold your funds in, that would already be out and work flawlessly and fine. But no one would really use it because it just didn't do anything special. Didn't have swaps on it, cross-chain swaps on it, didn't have 50 wallets on it, didn't have, more chains on, all this kind of stuff. You couldn't move the thing up and down. There's plenty of stuff in there. The way the numbers are on there now, where it says, the 7 where there's zeros at, all this little stuff on there would not be on there. It's very different.
I think one thing that Cody had said, the more simple you make it, the harder it is to build, and I totally resonated with me. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, just saying, yeah, you're right. I mean, the simpler something looks, the harder it was to do, 100%. But that's the goal, isn't it? Yeah. It needs to be super, super simple and intuitive. Anything, the wallet, the marketplace. So it's because you asked that great question about what do you think people are going to think about it when it launches? It's objectively, I think they're going to be kind of surprised how less is more it looks. There's not 100 pages to thumb through or 100 subtabs, yeah.
Yeah, and that point, they're going to get the it took you 8 months to build this. That's what they're going to say. The point of it.
Yes. Will be a resounding yes.
Yeah.
And if you did a good job, it should look effortless.
Exactly.
Yes.
The 100%. Easier it looks, the harder and the longer it is and takes.
I was just referring to the wallet very differently about something, very simple where there's just, BSC in ETH and that just in there without any of the bells and whistles and stuff. LunaSky is a complete different build than Atlas with different partners and stuff like that. It's way different.
Yeah, even the way you manage the builds and test the builds is very, very different. You would think that you could approach all software builds the same way. In a project management sense, you can, and depending on how you want to manage project builds, you might have some software companies approach them in the same way using the same methodologies, right? But at the same time, I mean, these are very different things. These are 2 different companies, too. They're doing the build. We're not doing the build. We are, the outside source. We're the ones who are watching the building it and guiding and testing along the way. So yeah, 2 very different builds, 2 very different management processes, 2 very different testing processes too.
And we got 10 different partners on the wallet that we're also talking to simultaneously, that the devs are also talking to simultaneously. We're monitoring that, with LunaSky, there's not those, buy and sell partners and the swap partners and different like that. The collections of stuff partners will come in a bit afterwards, however that works, however the guys want to work that way, and we'll have that too. But just 2 different ways, stuff is being built, and I think that's good because we can get, the attention of that space over there, and then we get the attention of this space over there.
They're difficult in different ways. So for Atlas Wallet, it's all about the integrations, right? So all the integration partners and getting everything to mesh properly. Where with LunaSky, it's more just building the things from scratch. And so both are really hard, but for different reasons.
Yeah, it's amazing how something so simplistic as a social stat on a profile on LunaSky can tie into 3 different parts of 2 different, 4 different, 6 different contracts on the back end that make it work, right? Like a file. It gets very, very deep,
Oh, God.
Keeping up with that, managing and organizing that data is critical to stay on, or you get to the point where you're so far behind with it. Your meetings are off the cuff. They're not organized, we spoke about that a little earlier on, but yeah, so I mean, it's a lot, ton to it.
Also, guys, I'm gonna say something for the future that's not going to give anything away. Well, it may, but not. No, not like that.
Okay, sorry. Just checking to make sure.
No,
it works.
Sam actually found a very groundbreaking thing for the wallet. That is a really cool feature that I think maybe one other wallet in the world has, maybe more. It's not going to be one launch, but we're going to try and have it for the update if it fits, with our current build that we have, and it is absolutely awesome. We just looked at it the other day. It's not going to, obviously we're not going to have it on launch. We're not going to slow down the build, to put it back for this, but it's something.
Is it feet biometrics? Is that what it is?
Is it what? Oh, feet
biometrics.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
I gotta go.
But maybe in the weeks to come, maybe Sam will say something about it. Not sure, but obviously we don't want to, we don't say stuff about it because what if someone else, wants to do it faster than us? I mean, it's already,
How about this? You want to give them a directional clue? That's a trick question. Don't answer it. Yeah. you almost failed the test.
Why are you enabling Cody?
Gotcha. Don't do it. I love this. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, I'll give you a little clue.
Good, sir.
But it's not a trust wallet.
Before Paul gets himself in trouble,
Cody.
I'm dying over here.
Flushing that one right down.
These guys are no fun.
In deep trouble.
These guys are no fun. I don't get in trouble. These guys are just no fun at all.
Raymond, I'm just watching out for you, buddy.
And no fun. No
Paul,
fun.
Rocket, Cody, and the whole team. Obviously, I want LunaSky out yesterday for purely selfish reasons, but I also want you guys to get it out because I want you to be able to hopefully get some rest before you all have divorces and coronaries.
That's when the real work starts, though. I mean, look.
Yeah, it doesn't, just because we launched doesn't mean there's a break, because it's just, then it's like, all right, well, we got to prep the first update. Like, it's never ending.
Well, Phase 1 is the hardest one. That's the launch. I would say it's the hardest. But Paul's right. Like you're going to say, Paul, I'm sorry to cut you there. It's that's when the real work begins right there.
Well, I'll talk about the marketing and getting the collections on board and reaching out and doing this and that, along with the, the updates. But that'll be a lot less stress will be taken off. I think the stress will be taken off of you guys, and then placed on us for the wallet. Well, it's already placed on us with the wallet. But, we're involved with LunaSky too. Don't take it off the thing. Sam and I are, when Cody and Rocket ask for, especially Sam, to come in and take a look at, this or that, he does.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier about how Paul and Sam, look at the platform weekly, and then they send us their own feedback along with our guys that have been checking it out. And then, so, yeah. And I thought, go ahead. Sorry, man.
Well, it's really good also because we're, pretty much newbies to the space. So, especially me, I can pick out stuff that, or try to work out stuff that's new and say, oh, I'm not sure how that works because I'm a newbie. Sam, he's more of a, he's a newbie, but also he's how it looks. Making sure stuff's in the right position, lining, all that little
keen eye for the UIs.
The UI stuff, which is really pivotal for, first impressions.
This is a shirt you need to make, Steve. Now, the next shirt, I've got it. You have to make a shirt that says Sam Kelly, keen eye for the UI.
There you go.
Yeah. That's a sitcom right there.
And then right underneath it, you got to have ... LunaSky. So keen eye for the UI, LunaSky.
I'm writing this down right now.
Yeah.
If you guys don't get some rest soon, if you don't actually get at least a little break and a little bit of rest, in another week, you're all going to be physically older than I am.
I said that like 6 months ago, so I guess I'm really
I
old
have
now.
lived 3 lifetimes in the last year.
Yeah. I think I get a little more rest. Cody, you know, in Rocket, you have families and stuff like that. Me and Sam don't. I mean, I got my family, obviously, mother, father, stuff like that, but, you know, not a significant other, kids, stuff like that. So, you know, they actually, you know, have a lot more on their plate. But, you know, they work just as hard as us, you know, if not more in other places or whatever. We all try to work the same. It's not like we try to take off or, you know, do this or make other people work or whatever it is. Cody and Rocket, if they ever need time off or if they say we're busy, you know, Sam always says, yeah, go do what you got to do or whatever. But we all know that, you know, it's crunch time now and we can rest later and get rewarded for that, because we're in here for reward too, you know, obviously. Nothing, you know, we want obviously to make the community happy, you know, but also get rewarded for our work, just like anyone else in business. But we're, you know, I was just like in all the other in all these spaces you guys have seen me in, you know, they're all token spaces with, you know, just tokens launching with empty promises and stuff. You know, even though we made a lot of mistakes and everything, you know, Sam and us and our approach as a business, we want to give revenue back. We're making, and even though there's been deadlines missed and this and that, we're building serious stuff here. And there, even though a lot of people do have wallets and stuff like that, and NFT marketplaces, no one's going to have ones like this, you know. And, you know, you can make the best thing, and we don't have, you know, devs as founders now, but, you know, we do have great, you know, Rocket comes from a marketing background. Sam's the ultimate marketer. You know, Cody's really good with customer service. I'm a really good manager and people person. So we got a good team here as far as, you know, especially when the stuff actually gets out and work. You know, you can have the best thing, but if no one hears about it, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
you know,
we were talking about strengths earlier, Paul, and we're talking about how, you know, everybody's got, you know, strengths in certain areas, and everybody has unique skill sets, you know, and it's really about recognizing what your unique skill set is and how you can contribute and what you can bring to the table with those things. You know, like Paul was just saying, I mean, we've talked about this before, you know, like we know what we all are good at doing and what we're not good at doing, and that's where everyone else comes into play, you know. So that goes for the whole team. You know, we have a fantastic group of people, and not just the staff, but also the we'll call them the individual contributors or the contractors, like Steve, you know, and community members who do things on their own, like EverGrow Love. I mean, he goes out of his way to make like these awesome, badass, you know, EverGrow ecosystem related images all the time, and they're killer. I reached out to him the other day and was like, man, let me send you the 3D EGC, man. Kind of like Steve, when you were asking me about that. And EverGrow Love was like, I'd love to make some cool images with that, you know, just out of his, you know, free time. I mean, like that's, you know, that's big right there. Stuff like that, you know, that y'all do. The community store, the spaces, Zelda and EverGrow Love and all the folks out there, Shy, you know, like Shy William Blake hit me up. It was like, hey, you got high-res image of that landing page that Rocket made for the beta being shut down. I'm like, yeah, why? And he said, well, I just wanted to make some banners and prep some banners for like Facebook and stuff, or, you know, for just people in the community that might be looking for them. I'm like, that's cool, man. So yeah, stuff like that, man. I just think that's really awesome that y'all do that stuff.
In a couple weeks, backing off what Cody just said, in a couple weeks, we are going to be helping the community out with that kind of stuff, and we hope you guys can, expand the reach of EverGrow with, memes and videos and your outreach and everything, and reach other people to have them join the community, just how it was in 2021, but make it bigger. So, you know, we're all going to have to, not just us, everyone, we're all going to have to play a role in this. And some people have put more time in it than others, but the project's only as good as the community, you know? So we're all going to have to do our part. I know we will do our part, and we already know that, you know, you guys right here listening will do your part, but let's reach out to other people too. When they get involved, newer people, to get them in to do their part also. You know, we don't want to, that's one thing that, you know, at the beginning, I think I had to learn a lesson of, like, you know, I just wanted to grow my account and I just wanted to do this. Like, then I came to the realization, like, no, I want to help everyone grow their account, because the more we can grow all the accounts, the more reach we all can have.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, but there was always that selfish thing, like, oh, I want to focus on my accounts, you know, but, you know, then I came to the realization that no, the more followers that everyone has, that are really loyal EverGrow holders, then the more the word gets out, and then the more people can have spaces. Like, we don't want, we want Steve to have, the biggest space out there. We want other spaces going too. In the middle of the week, and someone just open up a space and just talking about EverGrow and all the cool stuff we have happening.
Like I say, they're doing the spaces over in Africa,
just
which
like
is awesome.
Awesome.
And it's funny, and he totally did that organically. Just decided, you know what I mean? Took it up on his own and just started, and it's great.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Well, so did you. So did you. And that's what we want. We don't want to tell people to start a space or whatever. Doing organically is the best, and you will get recognized by the community. We will retweet you out. We'll come into the spaces. I still got to find how do you say his name? Xavier. I still got to find his space. Is it English, or is it? I know said it was Africa, but is it?
Oh, iSavior. He's in Nigeria, and he's spaces for us, Paul. I looked at the last one. I wasn't able to make it, but it would be he usually does them around 4:30 a.m. your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but that being said, something I think we should recognize really quick, Steve, man, your 50th spaces is next week.
No, it's crazy, huh?
Dude, so let's ask Steve a question for once. Steve's always asking all these questions and doing all the stuff for everybody. Steve, how are you feeling about having your 50th spaces, and what has the journey been like for you from your first spaces to now?
It's kind of a blur, honestly. Like, it's really hard for me to kind of put my finger on it. I mean, I guess we just do it every week, and I see the result that it happens. So for me, it's easy. It's not even work. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it takes work to prepare, you know what I mean? But I understand the significance that people get out of it. It's just that sense of community that everybody comes here, and we obviously we want to know what's going on within the project. All that stuff, that's great. But a lot of times what we're talking about is really on the edge stuff, right? It's not necessarily about Atlas Wallet specifically, or LunaSky specifically. We getting to know you guys and each other, and we're asking kind of out there questions a little bit, just trying to learn kind of how we all think about things, right? And what brings us together. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. Honestly, I can't believe that it's 50 next week. It's pretty amazing.
50. That's almost 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, another question for you here. Just, do you feel like there's been any specific challenges along the way that have come up for you, doing these spaces, regardless of what they are, big or small?
Personally, in my personal life, it's been a challenge. I'll be honest. Like, it's I don't have a lot of time. You know what I mean, during the day, and the job that I'm on right now is really, really kind of administratively pretty hard. It's day by day. So keeping up on everything, it's a lot of work, and it is stressful. And there's times where, when I take a deep breath and I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do much more, you know what I mean? And, but I know I do it for you guys, honestly, like really because I know you appreciate it. And that's why I do it. So, that's where my energy comes from. That's where my drive comes from, is to support you guys. So.
Yeah, and it means the world to everybody, not just us, the community out there. Like, you've really become an integral part of this. And this isn't, blow up Steve show. This is like real talk, just like you've talked to us about earlier in the spaces. Like, what's it like for you guys day to day? It's super difficult. Our whole life is involved and invested in this. Like, and so many other things have had to take a back seat because of it. But that's the choices we've made, and we're going to stick to those until we see fit, which means for a long time, because we have things to get out here.
Yeah.
So, we can relate to that, Steve. And you're right. Like, every bit of time and effort you invest in this is a lot. It takes time away from your personal life, from your family time, from your just R&R time, and that you may have had before, where maybe you had a hobby or you have other things that you're into that you do that you don't get to do so much right now because you're doing this. And it means a lot to everybody. And we know it's a lot of work. And we thank you a great deal.
I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I've got my best support network right next to me. I got my wife, and she's there for me. You know what I mean? And even when I can tell her patience is tested, she seems to always come through and back me up. And So, that's the world for me.
It's fantastic. I can relate to that too, and I'm very, very grateful for it because it could not be that way. And it's tough, like Paul said earlier. It's like, well, everybody's got a personal life, It's like we all do. We all have day jobs. We have personal lives. We have families. Whatever we have going on, we're all human beings, But we have a responsibility to this, all of us, or anyone that's involved. That also, I have to bring back up the point I made earlier too. Anyone that has decided along the way it's not for them, man, respect to them for being there and doing and helping with everything they did. 100%. Totally get it and appreciate it. And it's a hard life. It's a hard job, but we love it. It's passion.
Well, here's something that might help. Two things I want to say. One is that I think starting the space, before everything blows up and, being almost a year has given you the experience of running the spaces for an entire
100%.
year before we, the next, run starts, before, the space gets bigger and bigger. So I think that's good. But also, and this is your choice, you did, but I know what I like to do is, we get a lot of work on us, and, what Sam tells us to do all the time, and I tell everyone else also, is to delegate stuff. So, maybe, if you decide, and if stuff does start getting to thing, and, I've done this, me and Cody, I did this when I first started the EverGrow Facebook members group. It was too much for me, so I asked, I need some help. So I got Cody to help me with it, and then it got too much for both of us. And then we had we got Danny to help us with this. And then it got too much for that. We had someone else to help us with this. So if you need to, you find someone that's as good as you, and you want to find someone as a co-host and kind of build them up to help you out in case you need to take a day off, in case you don't have to talk the entire time, so they can prep for half the show, and take some of that work off your shoulders. You started the foundation, but there's nothing wrong with, if you choose to have a co-host to help you out. Obviously, CWP is a co-host right now, but he's not official co-host, just like I'm made a co-host sometimes in case, you lose, internet thing and I need to bring someone up, whatever. But like if you choose to have a true co-host to help you ask the questions and stay on track or whatever it might be, it could help a lot. But that's your decision.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think even just this morning, CWP said he'd offered on the last space. He said hey, do you need help within the space, and maybe vetting people before we bring them up as speakers. And that is absolutely 100% helpful, because a lot of times I'm on my tablet, I'm looking up who they are, and do they look legit, and are they looking for their own platform to do whatever they want to do. So yeah, he's totally stepped up to the plate to help, and I appreciate it very much. So thank you.
If you start getting a couple hundred people in there, you're not going to be able to do that. I'll tell you that. And even if you do, you may not have someone up that could just be a newbie and be interested. So you just got to have someone on the trigger button, unless they obviously are a person that's going to start trouble.
Exactly.
The most thing is just the research and the stuff you're going to bring up for the day is splitting up that kind of work.
Yeah.
It's probably a thing, but it's obviously up to you. It's your show and you do what you want. But I think it could, really help the load of work, especially if you start getting busier and busier.
So let me ask. Go ahead.
Just real quick, kind of piggyback side tangent to that, something I just want to reiterate to the community is like, the difference between how Steve runs his spaces versus some spaces you may join occasionally are Steve preps his spaces ahead of time. He organizes, he puts together a lesson plan or a meeting minutes, you might hear that called sometimes. He puts together his spaces ahead of time. And this is what makes them so great, amongst several things, the people, him being a fantastic host, etc. But that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of weekly, research to do these things. Like, he doesn't come in here off the cuff and improvise his spaces. The reason Steve is such a great host has many facets to it. And I can speak to it because this is the same way that we would do this in the early days, and I would I'd be like going back and forth with Paul, be like, we got to have, like a thing. And, and it's like, okay, cool. We'd have a little program together, and those are the ways to be efficient, to be organized. Steve spends a ton of time doing this every week, y'all. He doesn't just like wake up on Saturday and put together his spaces. Like he's prepping his spaces every week throughout the week, just like a TV series that has one episode a week. It's a lot of work for him, and I commend it and I recognize it. And that's why his spaces are so good and they're so efficient, is because he does not run and improvise spaces. And nothing's wrong with those. Those are fun sometimes, right? Get in there, shoot the shit, etc. But that's the difference between Steve's spaces and maybe some others. So, there's a lot in the back end to him.
Even when Sam would, start out the EverGrow spaces, remember Cody would tell us like, a few hours beforehand, he goes, okay, I need to write my, opening or, at least take notes on my open things of what I want to say so I don't miss anything, and it takes a couple hours to do that, among the 1,000 other things that he's doing, so it comes out right and he doesn't miss anything.
Being prepared and organized, and I've spoken a little about this. This is my speciality, not just customer service, but being organized, being prepared, And I recognize that, and Steve is that way with this stuff, and that's why his spaces are so great. He comes in prepared. He has a presentation, a program ready. Nothing wrong with doing an improv space. We'll probably do some in the future when these utilities out. Just pop up the spaces one day. But Steve, yeah, man, it's recognized and we all love you and appreciate it so much. And don't feel like you can't ever ask for help. Like to Paul's point, like it is okay if a Saturday comes and you're not available, my man. Like it's okay. Like your 50th space is coming up. Congratulations on that. That is a hell of an accomplishment. And it means the world to us because as management, we can't run spaces all the time.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
You try that in the early days, and like we talked about this a lot on the back end. Remember, Paul? And it was like, gosh, it's like we need to be doing spaces, but we just can't do them all the time. And to have a community member step forward, take the ball running with this, like it does a world for the project, So
we can just show up, and then answer the questions. They can have for us or the community has for us.
So much bigger than just like an EverGrow spaces. Everybody is my point. Like there's just a lot to this to look into, and we got to give somebody like Steve being so consistent with it the credit he deserves. So. Yes, it's a Praise Steve show now.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much. You guys are too kind. I gotta admit, though, the community is incredibly gracious. I get a lot of DMs where people say thank you for doing what you do. They reach out to me all the time, and even just in normal tweets, they're just engage and say, hey, just responding or whatever like that. And like I said, the community is just incredibly gracious and kind and supportive. And like I said, I wouldn't do it if you guys didn't appreciate it so much. And I could tell how much you guys appreciate it. So that's why I do it.
And then very, very soon, you're going to have a lot more people. And there's going to be, other project people, talking. Maybe something to talk about with that. You're going to have other, you're going to have NFT people. You're going to have stuff with the wallet going on. You're going to have stuff with staking going on. You're going to have stuff that you don't even know about yet that you're going to have to talk about, or want to talk about. And there's going to be so many other people with questions and new people every day. Starting this new era with EverGrow, with everything coming out. And I know it sounds like a broken record because it's not here yet, but it's really gonna flip the lid here and go from 0 to 60 or 0 to 100. Pretty fast in terms of, the space going as far as like releasing stuff where it won't take, years, in between stuff. We'll only take, a couple weeks. And a lot of stuff will start happening and changing. And there'll be so much to talk about. A lot of, what about this? What about that to talk about? And, your space will be the space to go every Saturday.
Yeah. I think one thing that really, really drives me a lot is that when I'm on Discord, and somebody will pop in, or maybe Twitter, they'll pop in, they'll say, there's been nothing that's happened here. Why is there so much silence? And people will come to the defense of the project and say, where have you been, man? You haven't been paying attention. We do a space every week. We, and all this and this. And they, and this is the support that the community provides, right? They come and they rally and they're like, wait a second. No. Hold on now. You just fell off the map for a bit and now you're coming back. So, yeah, you can't say that with our community.
I know I'm talking a lot here, but
yeah, that's true. If I may, just real quick, Paul, I got a jet. I just got a jet. Just want to say bye to everybody. Y'all keep going though. I'll come back and listen to the last bit. Steve, again, thank you so much. Paulie, Rocket, CWP, Zelda, everybody, love y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Cody.
Before you jet, I wanted to say how much I appreciate background noise when it comes from Rocket or you or anybody else. It's one of the things that makes me see you as a part of the family. And I want Rocket, especially, to stop complaining about his 1-year-old. I would like to see these kids on the spaces. But Steve, your spaces is just fun. You have so many people I hear reading tweets that say that this is a highlight of their week. And this is a highlight of mine too. And you've made that happen. Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. Cody, I mean, we're serious when we said earlier, please say thank you to your family for their patience and their support while you're here. Really appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
In the future, I'd really like to hear and talk with other people. I hope we could have more speakers up here as we get into more stuff, when LunaSky gets released, and there'll be a lot more to talk about and questions and stuff. So I think that'll end up happening. It's Steve, you have a tough job, with, there is stuff going on, but they're not as people want that, utility. Like we've done a lot of stuff in the last year to set us up for this moment that's coming. And also think about this. I don't think and some people do realize this is, there's been a lot of, the last week, something like that. Look at Lucro is on the rise. Look at, EverGrow had some huge buys. Look at that, and it was all because, I think all because of just the shutdown of the beta and the landing page of the new LunaSky. I mean, if that's all it took, and it's not just, and I doubt it's from, I don't know, but, from the 33 people in this space, there's a lot more people in our community than just these 33 people that are listening to me, and us right now. So there's some heavy hitters out there. And that one guy that bought, $1 trillion, I told you, I tweeted it out, he was the one at the beginning that bought, over $1 trillion and sold and probably made profits. And now he bought back again. There's a lot of people out there like that. And if the shutting down of the beta and the landing page does that, imagine, what the product's going to do coming out, and the other stuff that, the announcement that we have planned, and what we want to do here is, I can't really say, is really going to shake things up and bring a lot of attention to us. So if that just does that with just the changing of a page, nothing else, and those big buys, what can all the other stuff do?
Absolutely.
Just to think about it.
Absolutely, yeah. I cannot wait to, everybody's been really, really patient and giving you other guys the room to do what you guys needed to do. And it's nice to be right on the edge of the release of LunaSky, and then kind of, hopefully a couple of weeks later, another one, and then another one, and then another one. And then I keep going back to the 70% that we don't know about, that Sam and you and Sam had talked about. We're only talking about 4 or 5 utilities right now that we know about, and then there's so much out there that we don't know about. That's what's super pumped.
Well, the stuff that the couple things that you guys don't know about will be announced and I'm gonna say released to the community between LunaSky and Atlas release, like right in between there. So you don't have to wait after that. Yeah, there's stuff planned for after that, obviously, but stuff we're actually talking about, here
in this quarter,
that there's in between that's really gonna, give us a leg up and really help the project. I'm trying to, mince my words and watch what I say, but it's all gonna be done to help us, help the project, and reward everyone, and give everyone, belief in the project and what we're trying to do going forward. That, it's just not a pump and dump. Obviously we're not a pump and dump, but it's not just, we're building something special and want to make sure that we capitalize on everything that we possibly can the right way. Not in anything nefarious or anything, bad, like, other, projects do. We want to do everything the right way, and but also want to make money for people. It's the bottom line. We're all here, try to make people get back to close as even or even past as all-time high as possible at a certain time. I don't think that'll do it anytime soon. We need a bull market for that. I hope we can, expectations conceded. Just because stuff comes out doesn't mean we're going to pass the all-time high, guys. Obviously, anytime I'd love to do that, but let's have expectations here now. For when stuff starts releasing and coming out. Usually all-time highs don't get passed, especially ours that was so big. Don't get passed until real big bull runs and stuff like that. So just exceed expectations. If it we don't reach anywhere near that with the launch of this, it's okay. We're not supposed to. It's still in this market. Now if we do, I mean, Jesus,
if we can build on the momentum while we're in the bear market, then imagine what we can do with the bull.
That's what we want to do. That's the whole build on that, and we will build. We will 100%. We will go up. And like I said, we have one more. Me and Sam are gonna meet. I think Cody and whatever this. Go over last UI stuff. Deliver our findings tomorrow to Rocket and Cody. The final stuff. Deliver to the devs. They'll fix whatever UI stuff is there. Then migration release. So we're that close, guys, for that. And then everything else follows.
Awesome. That's such great news, man. Hopefully, well, I won't say. 50, lucky 50. Let's cross our fingers. Who knows? Maybe 51. But yeah, thank you, Paul. I appreciate the update.
Yeah, I think, if it'll be by episode 50, they're going to try for episode 50, pretty sure episode 51, but, we're that close, I'll meet with Sam. Hopefully he doesn't find, 100 things wrong. Mm-hmm. But I've checked it out.
We're definitely not giving a date or an expectation of a date. Definitely not doing that.
But trust me.
Speaking for Cody.
It'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
It'll all be worth it when it is, even if it's, episode 54, 55, 56, whenever, that it is. It'll all be worth it. It's all of it. There's no point in rushing it out now. Absolutely none.
Appreciate it.
And also, look, the whale's almost down to, his last, he doesn't listen, he doesn't know English anyway. He's almost down to his last little bit anyway. So if, he can be out and then we release the stuff, even better. He's almost done and out of tokens.
Exactly.
So let him be out, so we can't ruin the run up.
You bet. I didn't mention it earlier. I forgot to mention it, but I reached out to Colin with Abstract VR. And he's going to try and make it on the space next weekend and just talk a little bit about how Abstract VR is doing, and all, obviously, we want to know about the EGC partnership and all that stuff. But I just reached out to him and said, hey, come on the space and you want to talk about how things are going with your business and just share, kind of, it doesn't have to be about EGC, you know what I mean? And he's a partner with EGC and, we wish him the very, very best with his project. So just to do that. And he said he's going to try and make it next Saturday. So something to look forward to.
I want you guys to know, and maybe Rocket can, if he wants to back me up on this, he can. We've not put it on hold, but we are really pushing to get this stuff out to you guys first because we know you guys want something. And then we can, move forward with other partners and other stuff like that. We've had many people approach us in the last couple of months wanting to work together. And some of them, we definitely do want to work with them. We just had to put it on the back burner, unless it's something like really quick that can be done, where it won't take.
Nothing is quick.
Say that again.
Nothing is quick.
Nothing is quick. Yeah.
If you've learned anything, huh?
Well, take the little announcement with Squid Grow of that little thing. That's really quick. We didn't have to give any liquidity. We didn't do anything to make a little tweet. Something like that. That's not really a partnership. That's just announcing we're on another, basically a fork pancake swap. But they trade stuff on there. So that was just a quick conversation, boom, boom, done. I was just saying something like that, real quick and easy. But any other partnerships, we are, actively talking to. Rocket's talking to a couple. I'm talking to a couple. Sam, it is everything. But a lot of those are put on the back burner until we get this stuff out, and then we can, refocus on that for the future, products and stuff like that. So.
Awesome. Thank you for dropping in, Paul. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks for the update. I wanted to give Denny, thank you. I never got a chance to thank you when you were here earlier. but I want to thank you for all the giveaways that you do for EverGrow, the EverGrow community, and just in general. It just amazes me how much you support everybody. This latest Lucro giveaway, man, really appreciate it so much. Just amazing work. And I think you said you were going on vacation pretty soon, so I hope you have an amazing vacation, man.
Hey, if Denny can talk, can you come up here for a second? And let me get you guys' opinion on this. So you've seen a couple giveaways I've done lately, and I did a partnership giveaway. I did it with ETH one time, and then BNB. And I hope you all can see what I think I said this last week. I'm not sure if I did. I hope you all can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to reach out and, I'm not trying to reach out to bots. The first one, I got botted like hell. And then the second one, when I did a partnership, I had them, make sure they put a comment, and it was her idea to put puppies in there, but it got real people to follow, which was good. And I'm trying to expand the, and I didn't give away EverGrow because people love BUSD and ETH and stuff like that, but also now they'll be following my timeline, and anything I tweet about EverGrow that they will see, and maybe they'll keep seeing it and maybe invest one day. So when I do that, that's the reason behind that. Denny, I'm going to get your opinion on the way I do it and the way you do it. You give away, I think you give away EverGrow, right? I'm pretty sure you give away EverGrow or BUSD.
I just muted you. I just muted you just because I hear your background noise there, Denny. But go ahead now. Thank you, Denny.
Denny, go ahead.
Hopefully, you can
basically,
unmute.
what do you think about the way I do it? And I'm explaining to everyone why I do it the way I do it. Also, Denny, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Thank you, Denny.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I mean, personally, I think both ways are good. I think. So, I'm not really sure. But.
Are yours strictly yours? I can't remember. I know a lot of them are EverGrow. Are yours strictly just EverGrow all the time?
They're Lucro on EverGrow and USD as well, right?
He's in BUSD, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did some BUSD and then Lucro and also EverGrow. So
yeah.
I do a combination of all three.
Yeah, we should try. Maybe we try teaming up and doing a different one. With like I said, like ETH or even like a BUSD or whatever, and we can cross promote or something like that. And we always do a comments to make sure the bots aren't in there.
Yeah,
or maybe
sure.
trying to get.
Right.
We're also trying to target the crypto community. You notice when I do when I partnered with the girl, I forget her name or Ivy or whatever.
Lily Viv.
She has a lot of crypto followers, and she's a nice girl, so it's not like I'm using her, but we're actually kind of using each other for engagement and getting people to follow and stuff. So you don't want to just do that with someone that's not into crypto. You got to market these people. So while we're in this bear market and building, let's grow our accounts. And I'm not saying any of you guys aren't bad for doing this, but I've been starting to give $100 away for my paycheck each week towards this. I understand everyone can't afford it. Don't do it if you can't afford it. Otherwise, Denny, he can afford his EverGrow and stuff like that. I can afford it. It's fine. But I'm just explaining why we do this. I'm not trying to be selfish and okay, maybe 5% of me wants a big following to be get this, of course. But the main thing is behind EverGrow. It's my own money. I'd rather keep that money, but the more people we have following us for EverGrow or that potential EverGrow holders, new ones, then the more my bag will grow and make it all that much more money and you all more money too. So that's what I'm trying to spread. I hope you guys know that and understand that. I want to make it clear.
Absolutely, yeah. And sure. I mean, I'll be open to that for sure. So.
Okay, cool. I'll DM you about it, and we'll figure it out. We're definitely going to start doing a lot of these from the LunaSky space, the EverGrow space, and the LunaSky space. So you might be able to take a break, but we're going to be starting those up pretty soon, and try to make them organic as possible without bots intervening. We're doing some really different, cool giveaways. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Denny, thank you again for all your giveaways that you do and supporting the EverGrow community. and really enjoyed talking to you too. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Denny. I really appreciate everything you do for us.
Yeah, thank you for like all you guys do for the community as well. I really enjoy the spaces, and yeah, thank you.
Right on. Keep up the good work and keep sharing those pictures. I really love seeing your job sites and the work you're doing. Tell how hard you work, and so yeah.
Dude, I used to work in concrete, and I saw your picture the other day on the roof. And I mean, I wasn't on the roof working. I've been on the. I mean, oh my God, I know I can feel 3/4 or half your pain. I work on the ground in concrete in 120-degree weather, and it is just brutal.
There's no protection up there.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah, it gets. Yeah, it's pretty hot some days. But
I mean, it's just a question. Do you ever work with any guys that are Latino?
Oh yeah, I should do some.
Do you know do you ever see them work with, like, it's like 120 degrees and they work in like long sleeve and jeans and like a hat and everything, and they don't even sweat? Do you notice that?
I do, yeah. Like, I always wonder like why they do that for, but yeah.
Me too. I even asked them because the guys that work for me for 15 years, that's what you do. And I'm like, I'm getting there sweating. I got to dip my head in a cold thing of water just to cool off. And they're sitting there, and it blocks the sun. That's why they wear the long sleeves and the thing over their head and jeans and all this, because you got to wear jeans on a job site anyway. But everything else, so they don't get sunburn. But I'm like, and they're not even sweating though, or having a heat exhaustion. Meanwhile, I'm the boss, and so I get in my tank top and stuff like that. I'm like, screw the rules. I'm so hot. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how these guys don't sweat. Obviously it's something to deal with, their skin in the equator and them being born down there. Obviously it has to be something genetic. It's crazy. I wish I had it. It's so hot.
A lot of the guys on our job site, there's a lot of Hispanic on this job site, and it's crazy. Like, they are just killing themselves in this heat. And I mean, it doesn't get that hot here. It's like 80 degrees, right? It's no big deal, high humidity, whatever. But the work is just backbreaking, and they if I did what they were doing, I'd be dead. You know what I mean? I don't know how they do it. Just the work ethic is through the roof.
Most of my crew,
I do it all the time.
Go ahead. Do you? Yeah. You know what I learned?
Yeah, I'm on asphalt all day. And when it's 91 out, so that asphalt's at about 180 degrees.
Yeah. It comes off that too. Yeah, that asphalt is so hot. I had so many different types of workers, in my crew, or different crews. And I consider myself to work hard, but like, these guys will work and I pay them that way. I don't like how other people, choose to hire them because, they don't, have the proper paperwork, whatever, and then pay them like $8 an hour. No. The minimum my guys get, they minimum get $15 an hour when they did $15 an hour cash. So I paid them a little less because it wasn't tax taken out. But I really was against, people taking advantage of that kind of stuff and only paying $8 an hour when they're working their ass off, especially with concrete or even roofing, like you said, Danny. Denny, it's nuts.
You still there, Denny?
Oh yeah, I have bad service kind of, so it kind of cut off there. I didn't really catch that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're just getting a little off topic here from crypto to construction or roofing, but it's okay.
Okay, yeah. I have bad service right where I'm at, so it's kind of cutting in and out.
Off topic, I think, is great for a change.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk forever. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, Steve, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, we've been on it
forever,
for
but I gotta go.
almost
I don't know
4
if you
hours
want to do, but I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna watch the UFC fights tonight. If anyone wants to tweet at me about UFC tonight, I'll be watching it. I enjoy talking with you guys about it. If anyone does or watch it, Steve, thanks for having me. I know I was late. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Remind me. I need that. But anyway, all right, guys. I gotta go. I'll see you later, and see you next week.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it very much.
Yep,
guys,
thanks, Paul.
Thanks, guys, for being here at the space again. Like I said, space number 49. That's crazy. Thank you, and hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And we'll do this again next Saturday, Space 50. Look forward to seeing you all. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now, guys.
Bye-bye, all. Thank you.
Yep, we'll see you.